The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. And before we get started, please make sure that you guys are all subscribed by hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any future content. Share this on your various social media platforms because all of that helps the reach and the growth of the channel. Thank you guys very much for everything that you guys do because we're consistently on our way to 10K, and that's because of the teamwork that we're doing right here. Everybody's getting on code, everybody's contributing, helping each other out. So I greatly appreciate all of that. Okay, we have a few people in the building already. Fit and Friendly, thank you very much for being here. Shots on all targets, I like that name. Royal Me, our sister, how are you doing, beloved? And then Stolen Ancestors 1526. Oh, you see 1526 right there. I like that. I like that name. Jalen is in here. Denise is in here. Our good brother Hurricane IQ is in here. Nia is in here. Derek is in here. I see a lot of people in here. Our beloved Q2 Wise is in here. Thank you guys very much. All right. I appreciate every single last one of you guys for being here. Before we get started too much, I want to say, I know I've been talking about this, the immigration, especially the stuff going on in Chicago. I've been harping on that a lot. Okay, to be totally honest, you guys don't know anybody who's been really focused in on this particular subject more than me, on Chicago specifically more than me. All right, I've been keeping you guys up to date more than anybody else. All right, so I was going to talk about something totally different, but when I kept seeing stuff, people have been sending me stuff, and I just kept seeing it. I just could not pass this. I had a whole nother thing we were going to talk about tonight. I had the thumbnail and everything ready, but this stuff just kept popping up. So I just had to address it. And it's a good subject that we need to talk about, and we're going to talk about that next week. But this, I couldn't wait. I couldn't pass it up. It needs to be discussed now, tonight. All right. So I appreciate every single person for being here. Shout out also to our good brother Iron Will. He sent me this. I was, doing some laundry and I found this. I'm like, oh, that's our Iron Will. He sent this to me. He has his own business where he makes these. So this is black owned, a black owned business. Make sure you guys support your black owned businesses. So I appreciate that from my good brother. I decided to show support by wearing this again. I wore this one time before. You guys were wondering. So because we got a lot to talk about. We do have a lot to talk about. So without any further ado, we're going to get started. I'm going to show this clip, but before I do, we got to cross our T's and dot our I's. I always get that mixed up. Before I do, let's play this. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, check this out, y'all. Oh, hold on. Make it big.
Than 30 of them, but as it was again clear tonight at another meeting, the city of Chicago has opened a shelter a week since Mayor Johnson took office back in May. They've now opened more than 30 of them. But as it was again clear tonight at another meeting, many Chicagoans are beginning to lose patience with migrant shelters shuttering their community spaces. Inside is sweltering far.
And we're best believe we're going to be talking about this meeting and another meeting. There was another meeting today. If you guys haven't seen that one, we're going to be talking about both those meetings tonight. Make sure you guys are locked in because we're definitely going to be going through both of the meetings on the south and west side later on this evening.
Our West Side Auditorium, Gilwood residents raged over plans to transform this Park District Fieldhouse into Chicago's next migrant shelter.
We were going to have a shelter at this particular location.
A migrant shelter in Emerson Park, they say, is a non-starter.
I ask you to join me and stand up against allowing this to become a shelter.
This is a place people say is well used by the community. Beloved youth football and senior programs would be suspended by the shelter's plans.
We're not anti-migrants, but this is so disrespectful for them to just sit up here with this crap.
You cannot displace our children for these immigrants.
City officials say at least 10 buses every day are arriving from the southern border, and the pace is picking up. Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker are all but begging for help.
You said you hear that. Okay, let's just marinate on that. 10 buses a day. 10 buses. Now, so you guys know, these buses can fit around 50 people. Okay, so that's about, give or take, that's about 500 people every single day. It's not slowing down, it's actually speeding up. It's actually getting a lot worse.
We have to have better coordination with every single level of government, and that includes the state of Texas.
There are other things the federal government can do other than sending us money that they haven't yet done.
In a letter to President Biden asking for more help, Governor Pritzker says the crisis is overwhelming the state and the city's ability to provide aid.
What the state could do and what the governor could do that would be helpful is actually coordinating all the other municipalities in the state of Illinois, which is also a welcoming state, to take on more capacity.
While plenty of
what that means, what he just said means is that pretty much Chicago has been the one bearing all of the brunt of the illegal immigrants. I'm not calling them asylum seekers because technically they're not. So what's going on is that they're sitting up there like, okay, we want the city to pretty much, or the state to pretty much take more of the weight, because there's tens of thousands, that so-called tens of thousands of them in here. So we need like other neighborhoods in Illinois to take them. But the problem with that is the fact that the problem with that is the fact that Chicago is a sanctuary city. So what that means is that they get to come over and they don't have to have the fear of ICE being called on them and ICE deporting them because they're not legal citizens, ICE messing with them. The threat of ICE is not a concern to them. That's why they're shipping them to sanctuary cities. But the thing is that Illinois is not like it's a sanctuary state. So if they leave Illinois, if they get out of Illinois, the next thing you know, ICE can start messing with them. So that's the problem with that. But that's what because they're like, hey, Chicago's is packed. There's nothing we can do. So that's the thing with that. So I'm gonna finish playing it though.
Have stepped up with aid. The strain of 17,000 asylum seekers and counting is showing signs splintering communities at the seams.
In a statement responding to Governor Pritzker's letter, a spokesperson for the White House said President Biden has repeatedly pressed Congress for comprehensive immigration reform. They say the White House will continue to work with states like Illinois to try and navigate this fluctuating crisis.
Okay. All right. So the thing is that the governor has sent a letter to Biden, essentially begging him for support. Brandon Johnson has essentially begged Biden for support. They're like, hey, y'all need to do more than this. What you're doing has not been enough. Biden's not doing anything. Now they're facing the same thing that Eric Adams was facing when Eric Adams was like, just come, take him, just bring him over here. We got enough room. And he's expecting Biden to kind of help out with the federal support and all that stuff. And Biden's not doing anything. So it's all of this pressure is built up on the city. So the governor and the mayor both are asking Biden, and Biden's not responding to him. Biden's not doing anything for him. All right. Now, all this party loyalty stuff is kind of wearing thin on a lot of Democrats, not just Eric Adams, but Eric Adams, J.B. Pritzker, and what's his name? Johnson, Brandon Johnson. So much so. Now, this was a very interesting thing, and I'm going to pull this up. Brandon Johnson has said that Brandon is going to go to the border of Mexico. He's going to go to the border. Okay, so let's play this.
Johnson
I already read the copyright thing, so we should be good.
Revealing today that he is going to the southern border soon, but he would not provide any specifics. But we've also learned that a team from the Department of Homeland Security arrived here just yesterday to see what help Chicago needs.
So going to the border is to make sure that everybody knows that my administration is committed to making sure that we are putting together the full force of government at every single level to ensure that these families, who, by the way, they're not illegal, they're asylum seekers. They are protected by international.
When they say that they're asylum seekers, here's why they say that. Why they say that is because technically, they would have, because of international law with the US and UN, all that stuff. If they're asylum seekers, the country can take them in, has to take them in under some international law thing. Here, and this is why you have seen all of the politicians and all of the media just blatantly label all of them, 100% of them, asylum seekers. Every single last one of them, you've seen the media label them asylum seekers, because when they're asylum seekers, they get protected under the asylum seeker law, because they're seeking refuge from this oppressive, like some type of oppressive dictatorial government or something like that, to a degree, whatever the definition of asylum seeker means, whatever. It's like they're being oppressed by their government because of some type of political thing or whatever the case is, and they're coming over here to seek asylum, which is refuge. They're not insane, it's a refuge pretty much. So that's why you see them being labeled that. Now, I've been saying for the longest time, these people are not asylum seekers. Why? Is because you have to vet them completely before you even know if they're asylum seekers. The thing is that they're coming over here and they're not being vetted. They're just, have you seen the videos of them using cardboard boxes to crawl under the barbed wire at the border? You can't tell me that these people are legally going through the paperwork process to get their background checked, to get vetted, and all of that stuff, if I literally see them crawling under barbed wire in the border to get into America. You can't possibly convince me that these people are actually legitimately asylum seekers. What you're doing is that you're just saying that so be like, hey, they're not illegal, because the thing is that illegal immigrants, which is what we call them, I don't put it in the title for very obvious reasons, but this is what we call them, and this is smart to call them this because the labels are very important. They don't even call them, if you notice, they stopped even calling them immigrants, they just call them migrants. Okay, asylum seekers and migrants. They strategically stopped calling them immigrants because that was too close to illegal immigrants. So they're calling them these are migrant asylum seekers, giving the verbiage as if what they're doing is completely within legal rights. They're legally able to do what they're doing, which they're not. Okay, they're not. Because there's a process to it, which they have clearly been skipping through because they've been allowing a lot of criminals over here, which the lamestream media has been underreporting. That's why you see people like me. I saw a video, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, where Torian Rain, he was talking about that. We've been talking about that. You know, we've other people in New Black Media have been talking about that, right? So the media is not going to discuss this. It's a blink and you'll miss a story. So they're not being vetted. They have not been vetted. So I just want to let you know that when we see the asylum seekers, oh, they're asylum seekers. How do you know that? You would have to vet them, and their paperwork has to come back in order for you to tell, which you haven't. And how we know you haven't is because they're just sending bus loads of them over here. You don't even know that until like a couple days before.
Law.
And impassioned Mayor Johnson talking about the migrant crisis in Chicago, saying federal policies have impacted the city in a very dramatic way. Already more than 17,000 migrants have arrived in Chicago, with up to 22 more buses expected to arrive today.
22 more buses expected to arrive today. Y'all, this was yesterday. This was done yesterday. So 22 buses expected to arrive yesterday. And there's been, I've seen reports where they've said over 20 buses have arrived today, this day on the 5th. Right now, you guys are listening to it live. It's been, they've been bussed here today. We're going to finish playing this.
City resources are already strained to the limit. The Johnson administration scrambling to open more shelters. The mayor confirmed this afternoon that on Tuesday, a team from the Department of Homeland Security arrived in Chicago to assess the situation. Johnson pointing a thinly veiled finger at Texas Governor Greg Abbott for creating the problem that DHS is here to evaluate.
Based upon our interactions thus far, it is becoming increasingly clear that those who want to disrupt our democracy are committed to doing that. It's a real mission of theirs. And so our hope is that we will continue to get more resources and a stronger commitment from the federal government to be able to provide us with the support that the people of Chicago need.
Johnson says he recognizes what the southern border states are dealing with, and that's why he wants to go there with a team to see the problem firsthand. He said the trip is not to try and discourage the asylum seekers.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Nah, I don't believe that. He wants to go to the... Does it make sense, y'all, that he wants to go to the southern border just to see what they're dealing with down there? Does that make any sense? Is that not a big waste of time and energy and money? To go all the way down to the southern border so he can look at what's going on in the southern border? So what he can have a better understanding of what to do in Chicago? Does that make any sense? Or is he going down there to be all like, hey man, I don't want this to leak out, but please stop sending them over here. We cannot do no more. Okay. Because him, to be honest, him going to the southern border is going to be a waste of time, because it's not like they're going to stop coming. They're not going to stop coming. And Texas is not going to stop sending them to Chicago until Chicago stops accepting them. So him going to the southern border is just like a desperate move for really no reason. So we've done with this. Now, the thing is that a lot of people have been saying that, okay, you're doing this for them. We've talked about the tents. We've talked about the shelters. We've talked about all of these things, Johnson, that you've done for these illegals. But there's been homeless people who've been living in Chicago for the longest time, have received no resources, have received no help, no city funds, no state funds, no federal funds, nothing. And yet you guys are coming over here. You guys are spending millions of dollars on tents. You guys are spending millions of dollars on hotels and all that stuff. So what's going on with that? It's a lot of people who've been upset about that, who are upset about that. So what Brandon Johnson do? Let me show you what Brandon Johnson did. Brandon Johnson has finally addressed it. Brandon Johnson has finally addressed the homelessness in Chicago. And this comes from CBS. This was from yesterday. It says, Mayor Brandon Johnson has signed an executive order establishing the city's first chief homelessness officer at City Hall. So we have a chief homelessness officer, whatever that means. What we don't know what that means, but okay, let's find out. Okay, let's not jump to conclusions, right, y'all? Let's read through it. Let's find out what it means. What does it mean to be a chief homelessness officer at City Hall? Let's find that out. Okay, let's see. It says, Johnson said the new position in the mayor's cabinet would be tasked with coordinating efforts across city departments to provide shelter for all people. I still don't know what that means. You're in charge. Whoever's going to be there is going to be in charge of coordinating efforts across city departments to provide shelter. Okay, all right, I guess. For all people. Okay, okay, all right. Let's not still jump into conclusions. Let's just finish it and see where it goes. All right, yo. Okay. It says, according to the data from this summer, there are about 68,000 homeless people in Chicago. I'm going to be honest with you guys. That number was a little bit higher than I even expected it to be before reading that. That's a huge number of homeless people. God. And most of them are black. So y'all know most of them are black. It continues to say, the move comes as the city moved a step closer Wednesday to approving Johnson's proposal to increase the real estate transfer tax on sales of $1 million properties. Okay, so he's going to increase the sales tax on properties that are $1 million properties. Okay, all right. So that was his proposal Wednesday. In an effort to create a dedicated funding stream to fight homelessness. Now, what I find interesting about this is that he didn't have to do that when it comes to all these illegals coming over here. All these illegals just came over here. He didn't have to up the taxes. He didn't have to make a proposal. They just got money. They just sitting on money. It's just money after money after money after money. I'm talking millions of millions and millions and millions of dollars. And he's coming up now. Now we got to raise the, see, when it comes to us, you got to raise the taxes, you got to up the sales, down the sales, cut the budget, flip the budget, renew the budget, have a meeting, have a sit-in, have a lunch, have a vote. It's all of these things. Let's continue. It says the so-called Bring Chicago Home Ordinance, that's what he called it, Bring Chicago Home Ordinance, would create a tiered system for the real estate transfer tax for property sales in Chicago. The transfer tax for properties valued at less than $1 million would drop from 0.75% to 0.60%. Cool. Properties sold between 1 million and 1.5 million would pay a 2% tax transfer, nearly triple the current rate. Oh boy, all right. Johnson, you up in taxes, boy. 2%. Damn. It says property sold at 1.5 million or more would pay a 3% tax transfer, 4 times the current rate. And all of this is for homeless people. All right. Well, at least they won't be cold. At least they won't be cold sleeping outside, you know what I'm saying, this winter. Because not the immigrants won't have to, so at least the homeless people won't have to, I guess. Oh, but wait. It says, in order to approve the real estate transfer tax increase, the city council must vote to approve a binding voter referendum on the bulletin during the March 2024 primary elections. If voters approve of the referendum, the city council would then have to approve an ordinance setting up the new tax rates and creating a special fund to finance homelessness prevention programs. Y'all, just first off, ignore the little video ad. This is what we're talking about. When it comes to them, I'm talking about tent setup, millions of dollars worth of food, worth of clothes, worth of medical care, hospitals filled up. They ain't got no insurance. They don't have to worry about it. We have to worry about that stuff. You're not going to send the bill to them. They don't even got ideas. You don't know who they are. They're getting all this free stuff. Now, homeless people who've been homeless citizens in the country and in Chicago, what's going to happen to them is that he's going to appoint, all right, a chief officer person. He's going to appoint an officer to do something with the departments of Chicago to solve the homelessness, but the funding is going to come from the taxes, the sales taxes, and that is going to have to go through the council after the vote. And after the vote, they're going to approve it. And then after they approve it, they're going to have to also approve the taxes. So a little late next year, Like around this time next year, homeless people could start getting something. But this year, immigrants don't have to wait for nothing. They don't have to wait for anything. They got stuff coming off the bus. We got to wait for a vote, for an approval, for a meeting, for a sit-in, for a new budget, for tax breaks, to renew the taxes. We got to wait. All of this stuff we have to wait for. They don't got to wait for nothing. They're just getting it. All of that stuff. They're just off the rip, just getting it. Everything. So, family, the folks in Chicago, people in Chicago are kind of fed up with it. I'm going to show y'all this. I'm sure everybody's seen this kind of going viral on Twitter. Let me show this to y'all. This is from Twitter, and then we're going to actually pay the full breakdown. But yes, if people say that Biden, I was about to say Biden, but if people say that Johnson has not done anything for Chicago, you remind them that he has signed an executive order for a chief homelessness officer, whatever that means. And with that, we're going to wait for a vote, and the vote for the approval, and the approval for the city council. And then after that, they might get some blankets or something. Who knows? So don't let them beat up on Johnson like that. Don't let them do that. Because John, he out here making it work. He making it happen. Okay. Now you guys have seen this. This comes from a meeting that happened the other day. So what I'm going to give you a little prefix. What's going to happen is this is like a community center for a lot of the Chicago residents. You have a lot of young Black children who are involved in different after school activities, football, cheerleading, other activities. This is also used as a senior citizen center where, you know, senior citizens can participate in different programs for them and all that stuff. So this is what that is. All right. This is what that is. So what they're trying to do is they're going to turn this into a shelter. They're going to remove all of this stuff, all of the benefit that this is being done to Black people in Chicago. They're going to remove all of that, and they're just going to give it to the, you know, migrants. So Chicago said no. Black Chicago said no. So you see these kids, these are going to be the kids that they're going to just take. Well, I'm going to tell you, when it comes to children having to suffer and sacrifice because of selfish legislation, anti-Black selfish legislation, it's always Black children. Black children are the only children made to suffer, made to sacrifice, made to go without, made to give anything up for other non-Black people. They wouldn't do this. I'm going to repeat, they would not do this in a million years to a little white community center where you had little Connor and Hunter playing hockey or in a swimming pool team. They would never do this to a little white cheerleading squad or whatever the case is. And you tell little Becky and Jessica that they can't be cheerleaders anymore because you got a whole bunch of these illegal aliens coming in. They would never do that, okay? But they would do that to Black children. I'm going to play the rest, and then we're going to actually get to the meeting. Now, I'm going to say that was a very smart idea for them to put the children in the front like that. While you sitting up there telling the kids, or you telling a community essentially that you're going to be essentially kicking them out for the benefit of these illegals. It's smart to put the kids, because these are the people who are going to be really sacrificing the most. Is going to be them and the senior citizens, but mainly the kids, the ones who are going to have to sacrifice. Now we're going to play what happened in the actual meeting. We're going to fast forward a little bit. Now, it's going to be very interesting, y'all. Very interesting.
In my opinion, has been one of the most difficult situations that we've had in the city of Chicago. This past Friday, and so that I could chronologically let you know as far as what I have found out. This past Friday, I spoke to the mayor's office, the mayor's deputy mayor, or the deputy chief of staff, who informed me Friday morning that we were going to have a shelter at this particular location. You're gonna be allowed to speak. And is the speaker, when I spoke with the deputy chief of staff, she informed me that we would have this shelter here at this location, and I strongly object to it, and I object to it now. And I'm not saying that, because I want your applause. I'm saying that because we cannot take a resource from our community.
Now, you see this? Okay, now he's talking some good stuff now. And the community, what I like is that okay. I'm going to let it play out. Then I'm going to break down exactly what happens. What he's saying, people like now. That's why you hear people clapping.
I have told the mayor this. I've told the superintendent of our parks this. And I will state it to the top of the roof. We cannot take resources from the Black community, a community invested in. Now, I say this. Those seniors that come to this park know that I come here the fourth Thursday of every month with them. I know of the programming that's in this park, but there's so many other reasons why this park should not, and not just this park, but any park, should not be converted to a migrant shelter. First of all, we deal with security issues. Now, particularly in this area, our police officers have been working tirelessly to help reduce violence in the Amundsen Park area, in the North Austin area. And this, by no way, helps them in their efforts in reducing crime. I say, secondly, I believe in a democracy. I believe in a democratic process that says before you make these decisions need to be brought to the community. Now, I will say this. There's some out there that say, we want to see the email. I can show you every email I have. You come sit down with me, I will go through every email. But there are no emails with regard to this. I received a phone call Friday that this was going to be a shelter. Yep. Now, one other reason that we do not need this as a shelter. We have for months, and even beyond months, we have been telling our youth, if I could please speak, we've been telling our youth not to go downtown, not to gather in mass, not to commit crimes downtown, because we want to provide opportunities for you in your community. Well, this specifically flies in the face of that, and it takes a very valuable resource from our youth. Our seniors have been able to walk across the street and enjoy programming here. It will be extremely difficult extremely difficult for them to walk a mile and a half or even get a mile and a half from here to continue their senior program. So I ask you, and I have never asked this of the community before, I ask you to join me and stand up against allowing this to become a shelter. Now, guys.
Now, you see, I mean, people standing up, they liking what he's saying. He says, I don't want this to be a shelter. This is going to take away resources from the children, from the senior citizens, from the elders, from everybody in the community. And this is what the people wanted to hear. All right. Yeah, but this was very short-lived.
Hold on. Stop. I want you to know. I want you to know that I support our mayor. He is our...
Well, that didn't take that long. See, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight, and we see this a lot. We see this a lot. I've played for you guys enough of the city meetings and all of that for you guys to have an understanding of how they work. They'll say things like, hey, you know, we don't want them to come over and take our resources, and this is not fair to the children. This is not fair to the senior citizens. This is not fair to the taxpayers. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. And they'll get the crowd to initially start agreeing with them and everything like that. And they'd be like, yeah. But, you know, I still support the mayor, though. They don't really cross that line. They go to a certain limit and then they hit the brakes. They start to build up momentum to get the people approving of them, and then they'll try to steer the car in another direction. Like, yeah, we got to stop this, but it's not the mayor's fault. You know what? They're driving straight now, and then there's always a little pivot. It's always a little quick left turn that they try to pull on you. And the thing is that used to work often, but now you don't see that working anymore. And it don't matter how much momentum you build with the people. The second you try to pivot left, the second you turn left, that's when everybody's like, boo, no, what are you talking about? They caught that immediately. He wasn't even able to get done. They were like, oh, no, support the mayor. What do you, no. And you see, after he says that, the crowd stops having that reaction to him. They was loving him up until he said that point. After he said that, the crowd did not react to him the same way they were prior to him saying that. All right.
Allow me to finish my sentence. I support our mayor and what he is tasked with. Our mayor is tasked with over 15,000, providing for the well-being and shelter for over 15,000 people. Guys, I am not going to try to talk over you. I am not going to try to talk over you. But although I support our mayor, I do not support his decision to use this as a park. We cannot use our parks. We cannot use our parks to house migrants. Again, it takes away from the vibrancy of our neighborhoods. And so with that, I ask you to join me. Now, we have not made this into a migrant shelter yet. But if we call our mayor's office, if we can get on our telephones, if we can talk to his deputy mayors, his chief of staff, we can do everything that we can possibly do to make this not a shelter on the Austin community.
You see the people are talking amongst themselves. They're not even really talking. You saw right after he said that, the audience pretty much disengaged. After he made that point, the audience has essentially disengaged from there. Whatever. They talking to the next person beside them, right next to them. They've like essentially completely disengaged with him. He can't even get their attention anymore. Before they was like, yeah. They were cheering on everything he said. I support the mayor. They're like, boo. Anyway. And now everybody's just waiting for their turn to grab the mic. So I'm going to fast forward to that part. Let me get to the point where let me get the mic.
The city.
All right.
See how disrespectful this is. On the 5 o'clock news, they projected that the migrants would be here by Saturday. Look, welcome to the welcoming city. Well, I got to tell you, only certain areas are welcoming. That's us. They want us. They say they want to use this park, but let me tell you, LaSalle Street, Clark Street, all the office buildings, nobody wants to be in the loop anymore. They all want to move west because of new buildings with better amenities. Those buildings are empty right now with water, heat, and everything. But they don't want the migrants down there. We're not anti-migrants, but this is so disrespectful for them to just sit up here with this crap and we're supposed to listen to it. You know what? If you would had your right mind and see a crowd like this, you would say to yourself, they don't want it. But no, these politicians, they think that they could just do everything. And see, another thing as you all's representative, I can say what I want to say because I take nothing from them. I don't need nothing from them. Okay? They have disrespected us, our community. They're going to tell us and just shove it down our throats. And we're supposed to like it. Yeah, you all are sitting there. And another thing, they do not have a plan. And so many migrants come in, they say, let's take this. Let's take that. Now you see a viable park here that's functioning well in a nice area. Say this was a bad area, they wouldn't be here. Okay? Another thing I want you to understand how we support this park. This park needed air conditioners. You think we went to the park district? No, because we don't need them. We bought them. Supplied this whole park. They needed a stove and a refrigerator. We did it, the Laboratory Council. They needed a microwave. We give Christmas parties, and I don't ask these politicians for a dime. And this place is packed. See, they don't like people like me because I'm not taking their crap. And Brandon Johnson and Mayor and Alderman Terry Farrell, they wear this hat, and it's there. And all this crap about I just got to notice that. Well, if they don't give you that much respect as alderman, you don't need to be alderman. Okay?
You gotta love it. You gotta. I swear, you know, you gotta love it, cause it be the older, the riders, you know what I'm saying, who just don't care no more. He said if they didn't give you that much respect to let you know you shouldn't be alderman anyway, that gotta sting. Because all of the aldermen is sitting up there like, hey, man, I didn't know until today. I can't believe it. And that, man, you don't need, you gotta love it. Because, see, what happens is, like the age thing, when you have that younger, kind of like in the 30s, 40s, or whatever the case is, and they still raising a young kid, they don't want to sit up there and be too blatant with it. You know what I'm saying? They want to come in and be more politically correct, be a little bit more sophisticated. It always takes, and you see the brothers and the sisters in the meetings that I've played for you guys, you've seen them and they be all like, man, look, I don't give a damn. They need to go home. I can't believe this. I love it. Love it. If they don't got enough respect for you as alderman, you don't need to be alderman. Love it.
So don't drink the Kool-Aid. There are ample places in this city that the migrants could up the health issue, the shots that they haven't had. They're going to set this city back a long ways with this crap that they're doing. Just throwing people in. They don't give a in New York.
He almost cursed there. He had to stop himself. They don't give a Lord, I know Jesus is watching me right now. Let me watch my tongue. But boy, y'all making me god darn mad. Love it.
Hospitals are full with migrants. They can't get away to now I don't mind, and we're not anti-migrants, but it shouldn't be on our backs. Right? This is our park.
Mr. Glover, thank you so much for your comment.
And I want to say something to you all.
Look, one thing I do love about the older brothers and sisters and everything like that, they done when they say they done. They not done when the time is up. They don't really care about no time, and they don't care about no ding. They don't care about no bail. They don't care about nothing. He was all like, thank you, man. And another thing I want to say, I'm sick of this and I can't believe it anymore. I love it. Love it. They done when they say they done. You just got to, and you can't do nothing to them. Just, I done lived my life. I got my son older than you, boy. You better listen. I love it. You got to respect it. You have to.
You are. And when you leave here, stop depending on the politicians. And stop voting for the same people getting the same results.
Go ahead, Mr.
What's those two words? What's that one? What? What? Now, one of the things a couple things I'm gonna point out to you real quick, because he said it all. I can't do any better behind him.
Guys, listen up and give Mr. Trust an opportunity.
Again, one thing about this is Chicago Park District facility. You have a Chicago Park District Board of Commissioners. They never voted on turning this into a migrant center. So, yes, thank you. Looking at tax bill. And it's like they don't even go through the process of going through the Board of Commissioners, not going through the community and doing this to us. See, people talk about, and I'm gonna defer some of my time to my wife, is the fact, I always try to talk before her because I never want to go behind her. But people got to talk about the fact it's like, they ain't taking nothing away from you. It's enough for all of us. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now they're taking away an asset that people worked 30 years. My buddy worked years to put together programs that they're taking away from us, black people, with a black mayor, can't miss that point, from this community. And it's like, what insanity, what are we gonna hear from them that's gonna change our minds from no and not taking out our part? And the last thing I ask of you, please, please call Anthony Bill, call all the aldermen and say support Alderman Anthony's bill ordinance for a referendum on whether Chicago remain a sanctuary city. And think about it, this bill is not, it's not to say kick off the migrants that's already here. It's to a point we just gotta say no. Because
look, man. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, and that's the older brother was saying this too. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. All the whole we not anti-migrant now, and we don't want them gone. We just want a better plan. Stop. No, we just all this kind of like soft shoeing a little bit. You mad, but you trying to like be politically correct a little bit. I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying they shouldn't be here. That's all. Like, no, they should go. They need to leave. They need to go back home to their own country or whatever. They don't need to be here. We're not going to get anywhere if people are like, well, I'm not saying the thousands of them over here should leave. I'm just saying you shouldn't bring any more. No, they all need to go. They shouldn't be here. We're not going to make any progress while y'all, when folks sitting up there acting like they're afraid to say that. You can't be afraid to say that. They need to go. Oh, they shouldn't leave now. No, they should. They should.
You all got a $500 million because it's $300 million now. And by Christmas in January, it's going to be $500 million. Now, if you got $500 million laying around, I want to be in your family, first of all. I want to be your third cousin once removed. But the reality is, it's got to say no, because that's the simple solution is no. Turn the buses around.
Mr. Trush, you got about 15 seconds left.
Thank you.
Hold on, Ms. Trush. Ms. Trush, hold on before you start. We have about 60 speakers. So we do have a counter up here to give you an opportunity to get your message out so that we can take this message back to the mayor. Ms. Carter Trush, go ahead.
I want you to take a look around this room. I want you to pay attention because, see, I want Mayor Brandon Johnson to understand that you're selling us out for people who can't vote for you. We are the voters. We stood with you. And now you stand and you slap us in the face. I tell you what, tomorrow we're gonna punch you in the face at the polling places. We won't stand for this. We say no.
Thank you.
What you mean, thank you? Her time wasn't done yet. She could have continued. I like that sister. You can tell by her voice. You can tell by her voice that her children are very well behaved. When you heard, we gonna punch you in the face at the polling place. That's a code word. That's a little thing, because we not inciting violence. I'ma beat your ass in the polls. That's like a warning, like, hey, you can't say it. When she said punch with that P, I'm gonna take it back. You see how she pronounced that P? Her children are well behaved. I promise you. I promise you. Listen back to how she said punch you in the face. And she paused. That was strategic. She did that on purpose. After she said punch you in the face, it was a little pause at the polls. Okay. You know she ain't playing no games. The second I heard, and I tell you what, I'm like, oh, uh-oh. Y'all mess with the wrong one today. I know her children used to hate when she used to come up to the school. Your teacher said you was acting up. Okay, wait till we get home. Hold on. Let me take it back a little bit. See, this is the energy we need. Not that we need them to come and stay, but we just need some more planning and talking for us.
Stand and you slap us in the face. I tell you what, tomorrow we're gonna punch you in the face at the polling places. We won't stand for this.
You peep that little punch you in the face at the polling place. There was a little brief, little pause. Just tomorrow. Yeah, she ain't playing no games.
We say no.
Thank you. Because you care.
Hold on, you peep. The sister's eyes. Hold on, it's for a split second. I'm gonna zoom in for a split second.
We say no.
Hold on.
Thank you.
You see her face? Her face. She was like, "Damn, sister ain't playing no games." Remind me of my auntie. All right, okay, all right. Everybody, we all FBA in here, or at least a lot of us. So we all got a family. We all got an auntie like that, and we know we don't be playing no games with, or mama. I don't know. It depends. It could have been your mama or your auntie.
Because you care. We are not. Just give me a moment, please. Please. We are not here this evening to tell you how you should feel. We're not here to dismiss your feelings. The reason that we are here this evening is to provide you with the information to understand how we got here and how and why we are presenting this information.
See, this is the thing that goes on with why people are very upset. Now, you seeing, as we've been following this story, you've been seeing a lot of people, when they're coming to the meetings, people are becoming less and less patient. People are not sitting up there like, I just want to say I think it's a little dangerous, and I suggest that the mayor doesn't do it that way anymore. I'm just saying that. Now you seeing people sit up there, the second they grab the mic, they on 10. Off rip, they on 10. Because what they're seeing is the fact that the meetings and the whole, sit-ins, all that stuff that they've been doing, they're not doing it and taking the people's voice into consideration. What they're doing is that they're just there to inform the people of what's going to happen, and they allow people to speak to give the illusion that that their voice is really being considered in the decision making. But the thing is that guy just essentially told on the process, oh no, this is already a done deal. The paperwork's already been signed. They're already figuring out the legislation and the dates now. We're just telling you about it. You know what I'm saying? We're just like he said, we're informing. We're not having, this isn't a meeting or a city, a town hall or anything like that. This is really informing you all. He really just told on how the whole town hall sitting, the meetings and all that stuff that they've been doing. That's really just them informing the people and then getting some feedback so the people could feel like, boy, I sure told them as they driving home, thinking that the decision has yet to be made. But the decision was already made before they even set up that thing. All right. We're going to continue. We're going to, because there's another meeting that happened later on today, and we're going to get to that too as well. So you guys make sure y'all stay locked in, because that was something else too.
We're not going to get anywhere, folks, yelling at each other. And I'm not going to yell. And so what I want to do this evening is I want to lay out for you the facts. And I want to explain to you how we got here and where we have to go. Okay?
We know how we got here. The whole, I want to explain to you how we got here. We know how we got here. We know what happened. We know whose decisions it was to have them come over here. We know whose decisions it was for them to essentially be invading into black neighborhoods. We know that. Hold on.
So that's how we're going to start. I'm going to tell you. I don't think this is going to work.
You hear that? You hear that? Now I don't think this is going to work. You hear that? The little Hispanic, I want to say, I don't know. There's a chunky little lady over there. You hear that? You hear she? I don't think this is going to work. See, because their plan was to sit there and have this thing where, okay, we're allowing y'all to speak, because what they understand is that black people are not used to being paid any attention to. Black people's problems, black people's pain and grievance is used to being ignored. We're used to having our suffering and our problems and voices and anger be ignored. We're used to that. So what they're doing is, if we let them blow off some steam, they'll go home and they'll be all like, man, I sure told them at the meeting. They'll go to their job, be all like, yeah, and I told them no, and I said I'm tired of this shit. They know that, or at least they thought that. They expect that. But the thing is that they're seeing that, okay, you guys are coming here and this is supposed to be an informative thing, and what they're used to is black people getting up being almost timid and afraid of the politicians. They're used to black people almost looking at political figures and figures in these different city positions and stuff that like that. They're used to black folk looking at those people almost as some type of parental figure. So, you know, when you have an issue and you go to your parent or you go to your grandparents or your older people in the family, you don't really talk to them like your peers. You don't really snap off on them. They're used to kind of being scared. I just want to say that I'm a little scared and I'm a little concerned and I don't want them to leave, but I just want to. They're expecting that. They've gotten used to that. So now you're starting to see where the second they come up, they're getting ran off stage. They're getting booed. They can barely even get a word in anymore. They're not used. This is new to them. This energy from black society, not even just in Chicago, but just nationwide. They're not used to this energy from the people. I'm going to be honest. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, this might would have worked, but not today. Not now. Now it goes on mute a little bit, so I'm going to skip forward a tad bit so we can get more to what the people have to say, because that's what I really wanted to show you.
Daniel Hayes, Laurel Steele, followed by Bertha Frazier. Miss Bertha Frazier.
And James Frazier.
And then James Frazier.
There's that.
So Daniel, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Danielle Steele is from, okay, go ahead.
Lorel Steele.
Go ahead. I'm be short, mama.
Okay. No, I'm gonna be short too. I ain't gonna say no long.
But they call my name though.
I'm the first one. I'm Lorel Steele. Okay. Who's this part?
The city does. You guys, the
So that's
residents
us.
of this city owns the parks.
So why are we having this argument then? We should be able to make a decision.
Say that again, ma'am.
Why are we in here arguing about this? If we own this park, we should be able to make the decision.
I agree with you 110%.
That's just like anything. Like I own my house, I make a decision about my house. If this is our part, we should be able to make a decision about it.
This community should have been a part of the public engagement before this decision was made.
Right.
I agree with you on that. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Daniel.
These people live here. I don't know how actively these people use this park, but my son comes here every day after school because I have to work. Because I don't have any help, this is what this park was put here for my son to come here so he can be safe, so I don't have to worry about him out with somebody that's not going to worry about his well-being. And that's important to me. You know, my mama did the same thing for me when I grew up. I came here all the way till I was 12 years old. After school, summer school, spring break, all that. I was here. And now it's continuing on to the generation, to the next generation. I'm 33 years old. I've lived here. I've never lived anywhere else. This is my community. This is my park. This park has serviced me and my family for many years.
Thank you.
My name is Michelle Zappalo, and I should be on the list, probably like number 10 or so. But my question to you is, if we shut this park down, for the people that bring their kids here for sports programs, where they're supposed to go? Let me answer that for you. I have an 8-year-old. He's been out here since he's been 6. We have so many of this sports program goes up to 13U. A lot of these young boys, they don't have fathers. So a lot of these coaches, they are their fathers. They are their father figures. They come to this community 4 days out of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday for game day, and Fridays. So they spend part.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like that part. Wow. Okay. The fathers of the children should be the fathers, not the coaches. And I'm gonna be honest. I did not like the people's reaction. Like, yeah. No, that's not the way children should be brought up, being raised by their sports coaches. I did not like the people's reaction to that. That's not the way nothing should work. You don't see, no, you don't see other communities being all like, my damn basketball coach is my dad. Unless your basketball coach is actually your dad, like Venus and Serena Williams, that's your father and he's also your coach. It shouldn't be, my coach is raising me. What the hell is that? A lot of these boys don't have dads. That's not really true. Even if they living with their moms, they got dads. Like, to say they don't have dads, and then you saying, oh, so the coaches are the dads. Hold on. Maybe we need to talk about some problems outside of the park then, because the coaches shouldn't be the dads. What the hell? And the community like, yeah, like, no. Like, no. What the hell? I did not like that.
Part of their weekend here along during the week that keeps them a safe place. It gives them mentorship. It shows them discipline. It shows them how to be raised as Black men in the community. So you sit up here and you move our kids out when we already don't have the resources as it is. My son also goes to Wicker Park. I haven't got an email about nobody setting shelter up in Wicker Park. But yet we come in a community of Black people where we already get the low scraps. And then you want to take the little scrap, the resources that we have, and put us at the bottom of the barrel? That's not fair. And I won't have it because my son will be here.
My name is Howard Ray.
Sir,
I have a star by my name, but I have a question for the elected officials.
If you're not Miss Bertha Frazier, I'm going to cut the mic off because we're trying to get order in here.
They all in the back. But my question is this:
Mr. James Frazier and Bertha Frazier up next.
You fast forward a little bit because then they kind of talk among stuff.
And as it stands right now,
So what time is it?
as it stands right now,
Shows up at 6:39.
we have almost 10,000 migrants,
It's a different American.
asylum seekers that we have sheltered here in the city of Chicago.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
And so,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can keep it down so that he can finish answering the question, because this gentleman wants his question answered. So if you can keep your voices low.
It's not running. Alderman Talaferio.
Go ahead, sir.
Alderman, we need you to take control.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna stop this and pause because I'm very, very sick and tired of the lies. I'm very, very sick and tired of that. About the numbers being 10,000. Okay, 10,000, right? So what we're going to do, y'all, is I have this online calculator. Now, originally you guys heard, if you guys were here, you guys heard they say buses essentially fit about 50 people. You know that they have been coming since August last year. So they've been coming over a year. So we're just going to do a little bit of math because you keep hearing 10,000 people. So we're just going to do it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 50 buses, 50 people per bus. And let's just say they only sent one. Now we know they've been sending buses plural with an S every day. But we're going to lowball that and say they've only sent one single bus of 50 people a day. So how many days are in the year? 365. So what we're going to do, and this is very lowballing. This is very, very lowballing. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply one bus, which is 50 migrants a day, times 365 days. It's been longer than that, but we're even going to lowball it. So super, super lowballing it. And we have almost 20,000. So he's talking about 10,000. This is 20,000. Okay. This is 18,250 with only one bus a day. We know yesterday they sent 22 buses a day. So with only one bus a day for a year, and they've been sending them more than a year, the number has to be at least 18,250. So for them to be all like, oh, well, 10,000. No, you guys are skipping like a few thousand of that. Okay. Damn near half. You guys are saying a number damn near half. So let me tell you what they do. What they do is they'll say things like it's been over 10,000. You know what I'm saying? So technically they're not lying because it's more than 10,000. But the thing is that they're being very deceptive because they know that there's an implication behind the 10,000. They know if I say it's been 10, if we're going to use an example, if we say, if somebody asks you, oh, how much was that sandwich? And you say it was, it was over $10. You have the implication, okay, over $10, maybe 11, maybe 12. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody says, how much was the sandwich? It's over $10 and they paid $200 for it. Technically, they didn't lie because it was over 10, but the implication was that it's not a super high number over 10. 10 is a close number to what it is. So when they say, oh yeah, it's over 10, it's over 15. When you think of over 15, you think of maybe 16, 17, maybe even 18, depending on what it is. You don't think of 89. Now, that's not a lie, but the thing is that they're being deceptive through how they're answering that question. So it's not a lie technically, but it's a deceitful truth is what it is. So when they say it's been 10, we've housed over 10,000. Yeah, you've housed about 20,000. You've housed about, we did the super low numbers, and it was about 20,000. We know it's more than that. We know it's more than that. So yeah, you guys are saying it's over 10,000. Yeah, no shit, it's over 10,000. It's probably 20, 50,000 now. So they've been very deceitful with that. I just want to, I'm sick of them saying, yeah, we've 10,000. No, it's not that.
Control of this meeting, for those of us that followed the process and signed in to speak, we need to be allowed to speak. You just cannot have had police.
Ma'am, I agree with you. I agree with you totally. But unfortunately, it is very easy to lose control when folks are screaming. I have an order. I have a list of people I'm called to speak. There's an order to this, and we are trying our very best.
Now we're going to fast forward a little bit.
Schools. I don't have no problem about no one coming here, but utilize what we have. We got a lot of vacant buildings and things that we can utilize. Don't take away from them, because what's going to happen, the crime is going to get worse. Because I don't mind, it's a devil's workshop, so they ain't got nothing to do, so they going to just go and get in trouble.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Look, I'm going to, I don't mind if they come over here. Stop that. Okay, you working backwards. You sitting up there trying to advocate for your people without offending another group of people who are taking your resources. Somebody's going to be offended. Somebody's going to be hurt. Be like, damn that. No, they need to go. You don't know these folks. They need to leave. I don't mind them being over here as long as they on the other side of the street now. No.
Mr.
Deal.
We'll do that in a little bit. I want to give the community an opportunity to speak. Where's Mr. Melvin Funchess? I'm sorry, Carolyn Ball. Carolyn Ball did Melvin Funchess.
Okay, this is our community, and you just don't dump anything on us and expect us to accept it. Okay, that is not what we pay our taxes for. There's too many places. There's empty schools, empty buildings that you can take them to. We don't have a problem with them coming. Good luck to them. But
look, man, come on. Come on. Y'all not keeping it real. And this happened a lot in the other meeting, too. We're going to get into that right after this. I don't got a problem. No, you do. You do have a problem with them coming over here. This is all that politically correct stuff where you trying not to offend. I don't got a problem with them coming over here. I just got to say, not my school. No. The hell, come on.
This is not the place for them, not at this particular park.
You'll get her name.
And if we have to take the fight to City Hall, that's where we'll go.
Okay.
What's all you do?
Kaninia Smith, followed by Johnny Miller.
We're going to get to the other two, and then we're going to move on to the next meeting. But I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. I'm going to keep it a buck. This is why I displayed this, because it was some real talk. It was a lot of real talk, and then it was a lot of the whole, I don't want to offend them, and then we love them now, and they own people in color, and I just want to say that not in my park and not today. And stop. The whole, we don't want to offend them. No, I want to, well, I don't want to offend them, but I don't care if I do. Let me not say that on YouTube. Okay, let's keep going.
I just want to know, why are we not important enough for him to show up for us when we showed up for him? We voted for him. We walked door to door. We was out here advocating for him to be the next mayor of the city of Chicago. He has not showed up for us for anything. We had to battle the floods by ourselves. We have to battle this violence by ourselves. He doesn't help us do anything. And I want to know what he's going to do about this. I was one of the first Windy City cheerleaders on the first team they even had. This is what these kids need for this community. We got violence. We got poverty. We already getting scrapped. Why do we always got to be at the bottom of the barrel? I feel like we under the rats and the damn roaches. Y'all treat us like anything, and we just supposed to take it. Now, I'm not saying that I want the migrants to be misplaced. I'm not saying that I don't want them. I don't want them here. That's not going to help us. We got a school right here our kids go to. We don't know these people coming through here. Y'all can't track these people. Our kids are not safe. So I want to know why he's not here to address us and let us know what he's going to do. I think he owes us
Thank
that.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. You know, there's a saying, you know, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. When you guys are out there advocating for somebody who's running for office, any type of alderman, mayor, governor, president, especially, know who you guys are voting for, because what happens is black people go out there stomping and cheerleading and doing all this stuff. I was one of the first cheerleaders out there, and they doing all that. And then when the person asks I'm not surprised that Johnson is doing this. I'm not surprised that he's doing this. Okay, which is why I didn't support him before, because I knew this is the type of energy he had. But a whole bunch of people felt deceived and tricked, and they started supporting him, and then they all like, I feel betrayed. I can't believe. This is why we say you need to vet the people and check their background in their paperwork before you advocate for anybody politically. You don't advocate for somebody politically and then be all like, I feel betrayed. Well, yeah, I was shiesty before you voted for me, so I'm still shiesty. Like, and then I don't want them to be misplaced. I promise you, I'm gonna say this: they won't be misplaced back at home. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you, back at home, everybody speaks the same language. They won't have any language, because they talk about a lot of language barriers in America. They won't have any language barrier back in Mexico, back in Venezuela. They won't have any language barriers, okay? They'll be used to their custom food and their everything. Go back home. Just go back home. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I don't want them to be misplaced. They should go home. They should go home. Shit. Didn't even mean to cuss the stream. I broke my rule.
Johnny Matthews, then Linda Johnson. Johnny Matthews, then Ms. Linda Johnson. Johnny Matthews first. Ponce-de-Leon.
Who is she?
If you could please introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Beatriz Ponce de Leon. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Immigrant, Migrant, and Refugee Rights.
You see the community. I knew by that name. I knew the crowd was going to boo. Happy
to see you.
I want to share. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming here.
No, don't thank us. We could have been doing something else.
Look, the people that I want to thank you for coming here. I understand the black and brown, and it's got to work together. And you see the old shit that don't. No, baby, don't thank us. I don't want to be here. I want to be home watching my programs. I want to thank you for coming here. No.
I don't know if I want to make sure I understood your question. You're asking where will people go when they're here?
Right.
So I'm gonna answer that. Okay.
Guys, can we give her an opportunity to answer Ms. Matthews' question, please?
So the people that we're talking about are human beings just like you.
We know that. We know that. It is not us against them.
I'm gonna be honest. I love the way the people see, because I'm gonna be honest. Listen, y'all. Remember in 2016 and 2017 when you had all of the illegal immigrants locked up in the cages, and you had Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter was setting up protests, and Black Lives Matter was like, well, no, these are our black and these are our brown brothers and sisters. We're black and we're brown and we're people of color, and we're all disenfranchised minority communities, and we all have to work together, and we all have to sing Kumbaya together. And you had and they strategically did this, put black people in the front of the protest for the photo ops, be all like black and brown, and they can stay in town and stuff like that. They was doing all that. And they was like, well, you know, they are Black and brown brothers. Now you're seeing that people don't get like that no more. People aren't getting like that anymore. Well, there are people too who give a damn. Nobody who, yeah, oh, I so what? Well, we have to understand that these are people too. No, okay. They can be people back in Venezuela. There was no less people back in Venezuela, back in Mexico. They can go back. We don't want them here, Holmes. I need to stop that for my YouTube ban me or something like that for bullying.
We don't need you to tell us that. No, we don't need you. We don't need you to tell us that. It's not us against them, and that's the problem we don't care for. We don't care for that. We are not insensitive, but we got a problem with you thinking you can jam something down our throat.
Yes, I want you to understand that I do understand the problems that these migrants are going through. I do understand that. So the second they go home, I'm going to send them my thoughts and prayers. A lot of them too. I'm gonna be sitting up there thinking about them back in Mexico and back in you know, Venezuela or wherever country they're from. I'm sure gonna be, you know, praying and all that stuff for them when they go home. Not now, but when they go home and all of them are gone, they can have a whole bunch of thoughts and prayers. I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna be overwhelmed with a lot of thoughts and prayers because we're very sensitive people, and we just not sensitive right here when you at our house.
Go ahead, Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson, go ahead.
Okay, hold on. My question: are you the one to make the decision to take our part?
Hold on.
Okay, let me share this with you. First of all,
Miss Johnson, hold on one second.
First of all,
so y'all know that's their screen. I don't know why the screen froze up, but that's not on me. That's on them.
Miss Johnson, hold on one second.
Okay, you have to be quiet.
Guys, can we have your attention, please? Can we have your attention?
Okay.
We have a speaker up at the mic.
So we can hear. You have to be quiet so these people can talk. You have to be quiet. Please be quiet. That is not our problem. My issue is you want to put a Band-Aid on a leaking faucet, and that is not going to work. You have no right to take the taxpayer park district and tell us and jam it down our throats like gangsters what you want to do. This is our park district, and we have a right to have a say-so. But we don't have a say-so. You all called our alderman and told him what he's going to do. This is war. How disrespectful that is to him. You don't have that right to do that to us. And we're not responsible. Y'all need to go to the root of the problem. You need to stop the buses, stop Sanctuary City, and it's not us against them. You all need to take care of it and quit trying to tell us this bull crap that you sitting up here telling. We don't care about what the mayor said down there. We ain't concerned about that. We're concerned about our park, our safety, our kids having a place to go and showing up our senior, because I'm one of them. So my thing is, I don't need my taxes going up. I pay my taxes to come to this park, and you all have no right to just make a blank decision to take it.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. We have Sandra Weeks and then John.
But you don't have to take away our community and what we're trying to build here. Where we supposed to put our kids? That's what I want to know. Where our kids supposed to go? Where they supposed to go? I see why the mayor just dumped shit on you like that. You allowed that. You allowed that.
Ooh, damn, just called him a punk. He said, I see why the mayor do that to you. You a bit, yeah, he just called him a just called him a pushover. Gotta keep my language PG now. He called him a pushover. He called him a bitch pushover. That's what he called him. I see why the mayor did that to you. He ain't gonna do that to me. That's, you know those instigators you used to have at like your school or your job and everything like that, be like kind of lean back and the boss yelling at you. And when the boss gets done, the boss walk away. You see the boss don't talk to me like that. I don't let it. Boss talk to you like that. Boss don't talk to me like that. I wouldn't stand it. I'm a man before anything. That's what he kind of did. He just kind of pulled his whole card a little bit. Now he can talk to you like that, but he ain't gonna talk to me. We ain't a hoe. That's what he said. I translated it for him because I know that's what he wanted to say. He didn't say that, but I know that's what he wanted to say.
Let them come over here and take our community. I see why he did it to you. This is horrible. This is horrible. This is our community. And you got, like they said, McCormick Place. You got all different type of places to send these people. You don't have to. You want to interrupt this community that's thriving, that's doing well? No, your house. Send them to your house. Send them to your house.
Miss Sandra Weeks.
Understand? Them buses need to get turned around. Man, listen.
It says, send them to your house. I love it. Send them to your house. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. Now, but we got another meeting. Hold on, because this was on the west side, and this happened. And then today, there was another meeting today. Let me pull that up. This meeting got a lot of stuff that happened too. It wasn't as long, but it was interesting. So apparently, what they're trying to do is file a lawsuit, essentially. Just giving you that prefix. All right.
Chicago is working on an issue without addressing the current issue that it has with the communities that are suffering. And we're seeing resources fly out to help, but we're not getting that same type of support at the magnitude we're seeing now. And to expect us to foot the bill and hand over our already limited resources, public parks and school buildings that have been unjustly closed in the first place. Now you're putting a strain on our police officers and stations, obstructing their ability to do their jobs, serve our community, and our community to go into police stations to receive services. In addition, it's inhumane to welcome people only to have them sleeping on floors in buildings and in tents that cannot withstand the wind of Chicago. Brandon Johnson ran on the promise that he would listen to our community. And in the beginning of this crisis stated that he would not re-traumatize those communities that are still suffering from the impact of school closing, red line, and violence. We are here today demanding that the city of Chicago and Brandon Johnson stop disrupting park programs, taking away from our children and families that depend on those services. We want him to stop using public school buildings as housing because they're not zoned as such. And specifically for this building was promised to the community, and our children deserve a high school. A high school, we want to reopen this as one because we do not have a neighborhood high school. That school over there is not a neighborhood school. It's a selective enrollment that actually restricts our neighborhood kids from going. So that's a violation of our civil rights, and we want this building. We pay taxes for it. We are also demanding a full independent audit of how our tax money is being spent.
That's right.
We still have a homeless crisis. Black Americans have the highest rate of homelessness, including youth. We want to know how they're being housed, if they're being housed, what money is being spent on them. We need to know how money is being spent on our education system. When we now see that Chicago public schools and all city agencies are focusing on migrant children. Right. Migrant children deserve to have equal access to education, and so does Black children who have historically.
See, come on. We are not going to get the, I liked it, and then it's the whole that migrant children do deserve, they can deserve that home. They don't deserve that any and everywhere they go. And I'm not in they children, but the thing is that, yeah, they children, and I can have sympathy for any child in the world going through something bad. But the thing is that when you use words like deserve, I would take that word and go back home with that. Yeah, they deserve that home. They don't deserve that here. The same way we can never, especially us as FBA, we could never go just anywhere and say we deserve a damn thing. They don't deserve nothing here. Go home and deserve that. You deserve that in your own nation, not here. No, they don't deserve nothing here. Not even the kids. And I don't care who get upset with that. The kids don't even deserve anything in this country. No.
Been denied that right. This is an example of that. Building being closed when there's high school students all around here who have to travel far to go to school. My daughter travels 15 miles outside of her neighborhood to go to school. How dare the city of Chicago try to take this building, make her walk past a building that they're giving to people they allowed to come here illegally, and have her go past a half-empty building on the corner that she can't go to school. And she is a symbol of majority of Black children in the city of Chicago that are being denied rights, that are not being seen in this crisis that has been engineered. Again, we're not here saying we're against individual people who cross this border. We're mad at our government for putting them against us. Because that is what's happening, plain and simple. The residents of South Shore deserve a high quality high school. We deserve services. Our parks deserve to be open. We have present here people from Taylor Park. Taylor Park is located in a Robert Taylor community. We all know what happened with Robert Taylor, right? Thousands of Black Americans were displaced, and the city of Chicago has been threatening these poor families to take away their park. That's not fair. They have football teams, they have the cheerleading teams. Their kids are engaged socially. They need those services. Let's talk about the West Side. Last night, you guys saw the West Side. We were proud of them. That's right. If no one can understand, their Black family can understand why they turned up in that meeting, because it is still an injustice. It is an injustice. It's disingenuous, and it's not right for these people to come into our communities when we are suffering now. Brandon Johnson, go on your word. You cannot be elected into this office and ignore the people who got you here. That's right. We're not playing with you.
Here's the thing. You say stuff like, we not playing with you. We not playing with you. But when you address it, you're not seeing it through. You're not coming through all the time. That's like in football, you catch the ball and then you take a knee right before touchdown. You step out of bounds right before the touchdown. You're not seeing it through if you're going to essentially filter your words. When you filter your words, well, hey, now hold on now, we don't want them gone, or we not saying the people who are here need to leave. No, you got to be very candid with them, all right? Because what's going to happen is they're going to get out there and be all like, okay, y'all said y'all didn't want them gone now. Y'all just wanted more planning. No, they need to go. Just off of principle, they need to go. Just off of that. You don't know these people. We've already in these cities been under-resourced for decades, for generations, actually. And you're bringing them over here. You're giving them preferential treatment. So just off rip, first off, you haven't vetted them properly. So they all need to go. They all need to go through the proper paperwork process in order to come to a country anyway. As of right now, I'm going to tell you this. This is me. My personal opinion. Right now, America don't need to be accepting no immigrants, legal or illegal, right now. And this is my personal opinion. Right now, there needs to be a straight pause on all immigration, legal or illegal. All right. This country owes us trillions of dollars in reparations. This country has stripped away property from us, rights from us, businesses from us. This country needs to do right by us before they start allowing anybody legal or illegal in this country. All right. So for you to have them over here in the first place, no, they need to go. And then you have them over here and then they're tethering off of the few little resources that we have. That needs to be a hell no. And they need to say that unapologetically. You need to be unapologetic when you say stuff like that. Not no, well, I'm mad, but I'm a little disappointed. No, stop that. That stuff, you messing up the message.
Say that again. Say that again.
So today, we're here to say we want justice. We want the city to be more transparent. We want you to stop blatantly throwing the migrants anywhere.
Right.
We don't want tents built in Roseland.
That's right.
We don't want our park programs being taken away. And we want the city to work with our community in a genuine manner. So today we have, like I said, we have people here who are going to speak from various communities, but we also want to talk about our lawsuit. We're going to first have Frank Avila come up to talk a little bit about the lawsuit, and after him, we're going to have a resident, Jimmy Jones.
Now, so y'all know, this is a little sped up. I sped it up so we can get to her part, because y'all gonna be now. This is why we need to stop with the black and brown stuff. Now let's listen to him, and I'm gonna slow it down so I don't have to keep stopping it so frequently.
Hey, Frank. How you doing? You know me, Frank.
I do know you.
All right, then.
Good afternoon. My name's Frank Avila. I'm the attorney for Natasha Dunn, who's one of the plaintiffs. Dr. Jones is one of the plaintiffs, and the South Shore neighbors. The first thing that this lawsuit.
Remember in the old, I gotta pause it. Remember in the old meeting when they was doing that, when they was zooming all the way up into the people's nostrils and then zooming out. Like, do y'all got new camera people? Do y'all know not to just zoom slowly? Y'all going to max zoom, then pulling out. Just kind of slowly zoom in. Like, I'm not a cameraman for a news crew, but I know that. Y'all be all up in people's left eyeball and then kind of zoom out. Like, that show is so unprofessional.
It is about is for South Shore High School to reopen as a high school for this community.
Yes.
And if for some reason that was not possible, which is what they want, not what I want, not what some other community wants, what this community wants, is it for it to be reopened for community purposes. When Rahm Emanuel was mayor, 80% of the school closings were in African-American areas.
Right.
And although he will argue that it was because of a decrease in African-American population, which may be partially true, he did not care about the communities and what happened in them, and the resources were taken out. This community has a food desert. It's higher in crime than average of other parts of the city. And by the way, somebody came on and attacked me when we were in a press conference last time and said, oh, you're saying the people in back you are criminals. No, that's not what I'm saying. Although some people are criminals who reformed their lives, very few, and they said, now we are reformed our lives and we are ex-convicts. But I'm not saying the people in back of me are criminals. What I'm saying is they recognize that some of them live in higher crime areas. I'm not sure why people cannot understand that nuance, why they can't understand the distinction, and they want to divide people and not have any nuance, any complexity, and simplify the issues. So the first thing, and I'm going to repeat it, is to turn this school back into a school, a high school for this community, so people don't have to travel 15 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, and they can stay here. And for this building to be for the community, which was promised to them, a commitment, an oral contract, a contract with this community. The second thing is, and this community and these planes.
First off, what is this guy talking about? Can somebody in the chat room help me? What is this guy? This guy's been on for a good minute. Now I ain't paused it one time. What the hell is this dude even talking about? And this going to be the lawyer? Y'all not winning that lawsuit. I'm sorry. Y'all should have had somebody else up there. I mean, what is his point? He's been talking for like over, 2 minutes now, and he just starting to get in. And my first point is, damn, what was the other 2 minutes for? What are you doing? But it get worse.
Also care about the migrants themselves. And this immigration industrial complex and these poverty pimps don't care. Because after the state has spent $500 million, $350 million a quarter, the city of Chicago has allocated or spent $100 million, first $30 million, then $51 million, and now $20 million for a security company. You should not have people sleeping in tents outside when winter is coming. Winter is coming. You should not have people sleeping on police room floors when you've spent $600 million. That's crazy. I could have put them in the Drake, the Peninsula, the Ritz-Carlton, and the Palmer House, saved the taxpayer dollars 75%, spent 25% of that, give myself $1 million salary. All my friends could have got salaries and fed them, and everybody would be fine. This is
Am I tripping? What is this dude talking about? Why did they get this guy up here? What? No, the problem, they need to go. That's the problem. The problem ain't how they spending the money. The money needs to be spent on the black community. The money don't need to be spent on this. They got this lawyer up here babbling. The lawyer is babbling. Lord, what is he talking about? I could have bought this and I could have bought this for my friends and gave this a salary and gave this. Dude, really? Okay. Well, Lord.
An outrageous amount of money, and there needs to be an audit now. There needs to be an audit.
You just said something.
Now, moreover, there also needs to be a commensurate investment into long-term residents, including immigrants, this community, African American community,
including immigrants, there needs to be an investment whoa, this is, hey man, come see now watch this. If y'all thought he was babbling before, check this out. There needs to be investment including the immigrants. Now when you first look at this dude and you see this as a black issue, and this lawyer is clearly not black, and you letting him speak on y'all behalf, the lawyer's supposed to speak, he's supposed to be a voice for you. But when you ain't out, this is why I'm saying, when you are not there on your game, when you're not there speaking truth to power the way it needs to be spoken, when you're not there being unapologetic about what needs to happen, then when the lawyer comes up there, the lawyer gets to kind of play this little ride the fence kind of back and forth type of game. Then the lawyer gets to play that, because you are this person the lawyer is supposed to be representing. And if you ain't on your square, if you're not picking a side and being firm and 10 toes on that side, then your lawyer don't have to do that, because you're not even doing that. And your lawyer is supposed to be a representation of you. So this is why it's important for us to be all like, no, they need to go. All that, well, we don't know where they need to be, but just not here, just not now. No, they need to go right now. That's what they need. That's what needs to happen. When you're like that, then the legal representation gets to follow that up. You know what I'm saying? And either be on the right side, correct or incorrect. This man just sitting up there babbling, and he talking about immigrants.
low-income communities and communities that are deprived of resources.
Hold on, see, now this is a black issue in a black neighborhood or a black school, or at least it used to be a school, that's turning into a shelter, that they're turning into a shelter, and now this person's sitting up there like, yeah, I'm migrants, and now he all lives matter. And I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Now he's that and black and low income communities and disenfranchised. That's that all lives matter stuff. That's that all lives matter, people of color. We all gotta hold hands and kumbaya stuff.
There needs to be an audit.
You just said something.
Now, moreover, there also needs to be a commensurate investment into long-term residents, including immigrants, this community, African-American communities, low-income communities, and communities that are deprived of resources, where there's food deserts and crime and lack of schools and lack of opportunities, including
now you hear that he said in low-income communities. No, it's not no low income. It's black, specifically foundational black American, because that's the community that you guys are taking the resources from.
Including the West Side. My son boxes at Taylor Park, which they're gonna want to take over and in that program. In Petrowski Park, which is in Little Village, which is heavily Mexican-American community, Hispanic, mostly Mexican, with a good amount of undocumented, they've ended programs for children. I've gotten calls from parents about
the good amount of them undocumented. Y'all, this is their legal representation for the lawsuit? Do they still got Craigslist? Did they buy it? Where did they get this man from? Wish.com? Where did y'all find this lawyer from? They got this lawyer from damn it, a Facebook ad? Trust me, I'll do a very, very, very low price. I'm sure they didn't spend a lot of money on this guy. This man rented out a suit and some sunglasses and got up there and just started babbling. Where did he get his degree?
Autistic adults who are now aged out of the school system, and they've ended their programs. This is not residents versus migrants or citizens versus migrants. This is about putting migrants in residential housing.
No, it ain't. No, it's not. It's about them going home. That's what it's about. See, this is why we have, as the people, we need to be on our game. We need to be very clear, very precise, and very unapologetic. Because when we don't, then when the lawyer gets to come up and the lawyer says, this ain't about the black versus the brown. This is about us coming together and working together and being together and loving each other. No, it's not. This is about them being someplace where they're not supposed to be, which is America, and them going home. This is what this is about. Oh, no, we shouldn't want them sleeping sleeping in tents? Yeah, they should sleep in a house. Whoa, no. They should sleep in a house in Mexico or in Venezuela or someplace like that. They shouldn't sleep in no house here. Why do you let this dude up here? They need to sleep in residential housing in Mexico, yeah. In Venezuela, yes, I agree. Not here, not in Chicago or in America. What is this dude doing?
McCormick Center at 3,000 beds was actually for a quasi-residential. You don't put them in tents outside in Chicago winters. You don't put them on floors of police stations. Moreover, one of the reasons why some places have high crime, one, it's inhumane for people to live on floors of police stations where you don't have showers or sanitation, where you have people coming in and out of germs, where you don't have proper bathrooms, etc. It's bad for the police officers who are living in unsanitary conditions, unsafe conditions that are not.
Police officers don't live in a police station. Where did they get this lawyer? It's bad for the police officers to live in those unsanitary conditions. Police officers, when they get done, they clock out and go home. Or it depends on if they got to clock out, like if they got a salary or something, they go home. They don't live in a... Where did they get this guy? Where did they get this lawyer? The police don't live in a police station.
OSHA should come in and shut that down. And how can we have public security and safety and police properly preventing crime or resolving crime and having a police presence when now they're residential housing?
Yep. That's right.
Somebody is making money off of this.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Show us the money.
And there needs to be an audit. This community needs to be protected. Other communities need to be protected. This is not black versus Hispanic. This is not immigrant versus citizen. This is about what's doing right. This is about what's being humane and being sensible and fiscally responsible. And this.
Yeah. Lord. Okay, so y'all got a damn All Lives Matter lawyer up there talking on a very black issue. And this man is, damn it, watering down the message. As if y'all wasn't doing that enough. Let me get to the super chats real fast, okay? Because I missed a couple of them. Shout out to the fundraiser. I think this is first. He made a couple super chats. I'm going to get to the first one. The first one is a $5 super chat. It says, this is black people probably. Now, he was talking to about the other meeting. I just missed it. This is black people probably. We are too nice. I agree. And caring. And this is precisely why they are doing this to us, because our hearts are too friendly. I agree. Black people, we need to be very, very unapologetic with the word no. Not maybe, not kind of, not sort of. Now we think about it, no. It's just a no. It's just a no. The same exact way they would be saying no if this was the other way around. You think that we could go to Mexico and just start flooding their schools and flooding their police stations and hospitals, and they got to take their kids out of programs so we can come and stay? No, they would admit, man, you get shot trying to do that. Okay, then he sends another one. He's saying, he says, bro, we have a serious problem. Yeah, we do. And then he sends another one. Thank you very much. Both of them $2. It sounds like an immigration. He sounds like he's a immigrant's lawyer. He does. It sounds like he's an immigrant's lawyer. I don't even know if I don't think he got his law degree or his citizen documents, to be honest. What is he talking about? It's not a black versus brown. It's not an immigrant versus citizen. Yeah, it is. It's a finance. So what he's trying to do is he's talking about, we need an audit. We need to see where the money is going. What he's trying to do is he's trying to pin this on the government not doing enough for both parties. No, yes, it is. When the brown is taking over what the blacks own, and you don't see it the other way around, when the blacks got to suffer because of the brown, then it is a black and brown problem. Black versus brown problem. I mean,
this is about not ignoring communities. Now, we filed a lawsuit back in May, and it did temporarily stop. The city did not put any migrants into South Shore School, and maybe we thought we won. But now there's buses and buses coming in, and we had information that they were going to now put people here, and we decided to refile it, make it better, amend the complaint, refile a new suit that was more comprehensive, and also address some of the concerns and some of the responses and answers that people had. So, and I know some of you had questions on that. So we've sent the lawsuit out. I can send you all copies today too after this. And the lawsuit a new lawsuit has been filed. And we may add other communities to this lawsuit. We haven't decided yet. The priority for this lawsuit for me as a lawyer is my clients and the South Shore neighbors and South Shore High School. However, this is a broader issue, both to help the migrants and to help others.
To help the migrants? Y'all, where did this man come from? What are y'all doing?
Other communities.
Help the migrants. First off, notice what he said first. Help the migrants and other communities. Who are you advocating for?
I'd be living in parks and city colleges and schools. Beneath the water.
They shouldn't. I agree. They should be living home in their own country.
Is in Pilsen, which was an Hispanic community until it's gentrified, is now they want to put people there. Now, should adults be with high school students? Should we take out gyms so people cannot have programs in sports? This doesn't make any sense. This is illogical. It's stupid. It's bad policy. It's bad decision making.
And they're undocumented.
And also, it's a federal issue. It's a federal issue. The federal government needs to fund it, and the federal government needs to take all these migrants, vet them properly, and make sure there's standards, and then disperse them throughout the 300 or so municipalities, as well as suburban, rural, small town areas throughout the United States. Not just New York City and Chicago. Not just New York City and Chicago.
Now, folks, now you starting to see the folks got fed up. Deport them. Now you starting to hear this. The whole deport them, like, hey, we done with all this. We kind of done with all this. Listen to the background.
Right? They get that, right? You know about the tourists? The tourists, what they do to Native Americans? They're doing the same thing again. They're doing the same thing again, bro. They're illegal, right? They're illegal. Right now, Brandon Johnson and the Democrats are criminals. They're locking up guys from smoking and drugs and trafficking people across the thing. The dry government's doing it right now.
Right.
We're going to sue the bosses. We're going to sue the Democrats as civilians because they're supposed to be agents representing the people they voted for. They're agents. I'm a sports agent. If I don't have represent my clients, they fire me. It's time to fire. Don't let the Democrats have that stupid convention here next year. Enough's enough. All I see, right, is the citizens of Chicago marching to the gas chamber. Ever since these scumbags came across the border. Ever since these European scumbags came across the border.
Come on,
thank you.
Thank
you for your point.
Let me say this. Thank you for that. I want to sort of.
That's the first time you heard the crowd clap the whole time. Crowd been there for 20 minutes. You ain't heard them clap one single time. Or maybe when she said a couple something, but you ain't heard them clap in a minute, ain't you?
I want to bring this back because we're saying a lot, right? Okay, but
there's that super zoom again.
To be clear, he's right. There's a lot that's happened. A lot of that anger and outrage that you see is warranted, right? I mean, we've been through so much in our communities that when we see stuff like this is traumatic for us. This is traumatic for the people in our community. So we want to have Jay come up real quick, and then we're going to have someone from Woodlawn speak, and then we're going to ask questions. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Jay Darnell Jones. That is J period DARNELLJONES. And I am a co-plaintiff on this lawsuit. And I am also the president of the South Shore Park Neighborhood Association. We are here to protect the legacies of our community. period.
Hey, that man, you hear him, he walking away, you can still hear him. That's how angry that brother was. You still hear him in the background.
The lawsuits that we have filed was not necessarily meant to be a catalyst for other lawsuits around the country, but if that happens to be the case, so be it. While we have been doing our research for the information that we have provided, of course, we found systemic issues in that research. We know that it's not just South Shore High School or South Shore that's impacted by the items listed in our lawsuit. For our purposes, though, as Natasha mentioned, we have students, we have children in our community who live in that house or this house, who walk right past this school every day.
What is on his wrist? First off, is it just me? And I know I'm trying not to be too mean tonight, but does this guy come off a little moist to you guys? Just like the lisp, and I see he got a very like short choker chain or whatever the case is, and then he wearing a gauntlet for some reason. I thought it was a watch. I don't know if that's to check his time or his blood pressure. I don't know what he's wearing on his wrist, but seemingly coming off a little moist to me. I don't know.
Day, or whose parents drive them past this school every day to spend an hour in traffic just to get them to school. We as a community were sold on a negative dream with regard to selective enrollment schooling. Selective enrollment schooling in South Shore means we have children who are in the school building right around the corner that are not even from our community. How are we as a community to engage them? How are we as a community to support the school when the school has no interest in us? That's our question, and that's what we are trying to answer in our lawsuit against the Chicago Public Schools. We want to make sure if they look at the data that we have, there is no reasonable explanation as to why this school should not be a community school. Also, in terms of the migrant situation.
And we're just gonna fast forward past this. This man's slow, he low. Yeah, we're just gonna fast forward past this a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Before we do that, let me get to some of the other super chats we got. Let me get to some of the other ones. Okay. Let me see. We got one from our brother Maxwell Jenkins. He says, sends a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, brother. He says, why are the people not booing and acting out? Would have booed and threw stuff at him that day. Yes. I mean, the people was just kind of just sitting up there like listening to him, letting them speak. Should have been booed out. First off, when he started talking, he didn't make any sense. And then he started doing all this like, and it's not about immigrants. Now we want the immigrants to have good housing, not on police station floors. Like, oh, stop that. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you very much for your super chat. Then the fundraiser says, told you, yeah, he was right. He was right. He called it. Thank you again. Then he says, if you notice, it stopped being a black people's problem like 5 minutes ago. It did. Now, when she opened up, it was black people. It is black. Now it's about black and brown and everybody in town. Now it's about the school and kids in the school. They toned down with the word black. They opened it up with that, but then they toned down with that. So that's an interesting observation, brother.
Park neighborhood. It's about us. It's not about anything else that you may hear.
Still talking? I thought I fast forward.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Thank you. So we're gonna so while this particular lawsuit, we also are welcoming other communities into this conversation because we all have something in common. We're all really upset, for lack of a better word, about what's happening across the city of Chicago. And we recognize that as a collective, standing together is that much more powerful. So I have someone represented from Woodlawn, Roseland, and then we'll take questions.
My name is Andre Smith, ANDRE SMITH.
Why does the cameraman have his camera on that lady when the camera should be on the speaker, and then he's zooming in like 5? What is this cameraman doing? What did they be having these cameramen? Like, what is going on? Is there a strike going on I don't know about? And somebody's doing the audio and visual at the same time? This man is zooming all the way into they skin molecules, then zooming out, and the camera should not be on the woman, a bystander recording this. Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
I'm the first person to stop the bus with the migrants in Wadsworth.
Okay.
Today is a sad day in Chicago.
Yes, you're right.
Just the other day, we were going through COVID.
Yeah.
Just the other day, we was going through COVID, losing our loved ones, separated from our family members and our friends. That's trauma. We haven't even got over that. Now this, schools are not being schooled, children are not being taught, parks are not being parked where kids can go and play, and police stations are not policing. All of them have one thing in common. They are hotels and shelters. Our taxpayer dollars did not grow up. I mean, did not go. We didn't pay our taxes for that.
Not at all. Not at all.
We did not grow up as kids with a dream or a vision for what Chicago looked like right now, Brandon Johnson.
Every damn way.
So we're calling on the mayor and the governor to freeze the language of sanctuary city.
Freeze.
Wait. When you go to court, you gotta have grounds.
You gotta have grounds.
Grounds is because there's no plan.
That's right.
There was no plan. And there still today is no plan.
No plan.
And then we want you to show us the money. Anyone else would have been in federal penitentiary.
That's right. Stealing that damn money.
The U.S. Marshals would have went and got them.
Yeah.
So we asking Brandon to be transparent.
Yeah.
We asking the governor to be transparent, because how in the world over $6 million been spent and there's no accountability?
No accountability.
Look, man, damn the money. We don't want to see where the money went. We know where the money went. What's more important is where the money's not going. That's what's more important. We want to know where we want to have accountability. And look, man, no, this was not it. This was not it. I'm not going to lie, man. There was some people tripping on the West Side meeting, but the West Side had the South Side beat. I'm going to keep it real with you. And I don't really do the whole West Side and South Side, beefing or comparison or anything like that. But I agree the whole sanctuary city stuff needs to stop. But what is he like? Hold off on the language of sanctuary cities? No, get rid of that. Get rid of the whole thing. What are you talking about? Like this ain't it, man. And it don't stop. Let's hold on.
Hey, come here. Send all the ass back. All of them.
You hear that? He send their ass back. All of them. See, it's always somebody on code. The on code people don't tend to be the ones with the microphone. The on code people tend to be the ones who don't got the mic on somewhere in the background on the sidelines yelling, "Get their ass out of here. They need to go. F them all. They need to get out of here." Those be the on code ones, not the ones with the microphone. A lot of times. I'm not going to say all the time, but a lot of times.
Damn. Them little babies, they run anyway.
Good evening. My name is Tanisha Peoples. That is Tanesha Peoples, Peeples, and I reside on the far south side of Chicago in Roseland.
Why did they? Is this a thing now? Why is everybody spelling their name? I've never seen every single speaker got to get up there and pronounce their name then spell it. What is up with that? Why? When did we start doing that in meetings? My name is Tom, Tom Johnson, Joh. What is? Why do they? I don't. Okay.
Why are we here today? We're here today in the name of
illegal
democracy, justice, and morality. We're here today because we have repeatedly told our elected officials no, and they've repeatedly ignored us. We're here today because us taxpayers are stuck with bills that we did not co-sign for. We're here today because checks have been written without our say-so, and when we ask where our money's going, we get no answers. We're here today because generations of historically marginalized communities who have pleaded for asylum for ourselves have been ignored. Given the aforementioned reasons, we're here today with this lawsuit because we must finally force the people that are supposed to represent us for once to operate in our best interest. Someone posed a question on social media asking if Chicago should rescind its sanctuary city status.
Yes, they should.
And that's when it dawned on me that Chicago isn't a sanctuary city.
That's right.
It's a business masking itself as a safe harbor for new asylum seekers. Think about who benefits from an influx of migrants and how their benefit serves as a disadvantage and a detriment to taxpayers and historically marginalized communities.
No, no, no. This is not it. I'm not gonna lie, man. The West Side was not on that. No, that's not it. The West Side was not on that. They sitting up there. You think about, look at the money. Follow the money now. The money is where it's all going. It's the 1% Illuminati getting rich off the immigrants, and they got the black and the brown brothers and sisters fighting each other instead of loving each other. You know what I'm saying? This is a business corporation filled with capitalism, brother. Like, no, that's not what it is. You are doing this and oppressing and multiplying the underserved people of color community. No, only it ain't the people of color community, because y'all not sending them over there to the Asians. Y'all not sending them over there to the Arabs. Y'all not sending them over there to the Indians. Y'all not sending them over there to them, the other people of color. The only people of color who going through that, the only people of color you seeing in these meetings, the only people of color you seeing in these press conferences, and the only people of color schools, because there's Hispanic schools, there's different schools around. There's Arab schools where they send the schools all filled with a bunch of Arabs and Indians and the people over there, right? Middle Easterners, right? They ain't sending them over there, but they putting them in the black schools. So all that, this is the disenfranchised people of color community. No. And you're not going to get anywhere half stepping. You take a step forward and then you take 2 steps back. That's what you're doing. Let me get to some of these super chats. Thank you very much, Edward, our brother Edward. This is, I swear these let me see. They are dim opposition controlling. Yeah, they are. Why? Think about these. Why out of all of the people who get to speak, you got more on-code speakers? That's a good point our brother made. You got more on-code speakers on the sidelines than the actual people speaking who are supposed to be representing these communities. Does that make sense? And then we got thank you very much for that. And then we have $10 super chat from our sister Denise. Thank you very much. Now, all that black and brown stuff, this is why this is a problem now. And it's very strategic how they have because they don't randomly just pick them. They're not drawing names out of a hat. They're deliberately picking these people because they know what these people are going to say. These people got a script. If you notice, they're looking at the paper that they're reading. These people know what they're going to say well before they get up on the microphone.
The beneficiaries are the companies that get the contracts to do the busing,
That's right.
build tents, housing, and provide other services.
Black people getting that money.
That's right. The labor industry that can recruit migrants for low-wage work. Politicians, specifically flailing Democrats, who hope to win the newcomer support and quid pro quo for providing asylum. This is why there's a rush to expedite work permits, IDs, and policies for asylum seekers to be able to vote. And finally, the teachers union, whose membership and power will increase as the need for more educators, particularly those who specialize in ELL, grows.
Hold on, our brother is back. The brother with the white shirt, he came back. He around the corner screaming at him. Our brother with the white shirt came around the corner screaming at him.
Student population grows. Ask yourself the question, why did the teachers union travel to Venezuela in 2019?
No, we gonna check the teachers union.
So
we don't check the teachers union.
So who
they
loses?
Ain't the only union in town. They ain't the only union in town.
All right. So who loses in this deal?
I'm a union man.
People in historically marginalized communities that will end up. Sir, can I finish? Thank you. People in historically marginalized communities that will end up displaced or pushed out due to internal battles over housing and other critical resources. People in my community on the far south side of Chicago who've endured homelessness, blight, desolation, and oppression in the form of food apartheid at the site where the city proposes a migrant encampment be built. Our young and elderly people who can't enjoy their extracurricular activities at parks, public spaces that have served as safe havens in the city that has harmed them in every turn. And I want to highlight yesterday when the young people took a knee in defiance of the city's plan to remove their after-school programs. We see what's happening in the streets. So what the city is telling these young people is we're going to take away your extracurricular activities and turn you over to these streets. So they want more blood on their hands.
We're not going to let it.
That's what they're telling us.
We're not going to let it.
Black kids.
See, did you peep that? It's the old brother from the side. She was like, yeah, you see these young kids. Notice as the meeting has gone on, they're starting to use the word black less. They're using all this. I'm gonna be very honest. Let me take this off. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. You notice I've been doing this for some years now. You notice I don't really use the whole people with my skin tone. People who look, I even though they kind of mean black, I don't really like when people are like, and they're doing this to people who look like me. They're doing this to people who got dark skin. They're doing this to that's a little bit too vague for me. I don't no. I say black. They doing this to black. I either say black or I say FBA. That's what I say. I don't like the whole they doing this to people who are just no, I don't like that. Now she said kids. You're like, yeah, and those kids took a knee. And then the old man was like, yeah, the black kids took a knee. Don't be saying kids. Notice that they opened it up. They opened it up by saying, yeah, they're black, and this was a black school, and the black kids in a black town. And then they had that, I don't know what that lawyer dude was. I don't know what he was. He was not black. Then they had him coming up there. It's not about the black and the brown. It's about everybody. And then now everybody's sitting up there using the word black a lot less. You know, I don't like that. Oh, this whole disenfranchised people. No, just say black.
Everyone that suffers from inhumanity due to reckless decisions made on behalf of our representatives. So this fight isn't against other marginalized groups. We empathize.
Yeah, see, like, come on now. This fight isn't against other marginalized groups. It is. And people need to stop being so scared to say that. It's not against them. It's about the powers that be trying to put people of color against each other.
With their struggles.
I'm gonna get to y'all super chats. I see it.
404 years of poverty, racism, marginalization, and state-sanctioned violence in this country that we built. It's against the callous handling and denial of long-sought asylum for Black people. It's about respect, fairness, equity, morality, and humanity. It's against representatives that have never represented us. And right now, right here, right now, we're demanding that representation from our elected officials, whether they're wanting to do it or not.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, we're gonna have one more speaker from Taylor Park. She's gonna represent Taylor Park.
Hi, everybody. Thank y'all for allowing us to come and speak.
Before she start, let me get to the super chats, because this I don't want to like read it. Because sometimes when I wait late, I kind of read it out of context. Thank you very much to our brother Edward. He sends another super chat, the $20 super chat this time. Appreciate you. He says, tell them exactly what they need to hear, brother Afro. I will, definitely. We want them all gone. ALL, capital ALL, all of them, 100% gone. He continues to say, and the thing is, and the South Side got the Dems running them. This, and we don't need them. We want It says we won't even raise their voice. They won't even raise their voice. I'm sorry. They won't even raise their voice to say like they mean it or believe. Yeah, they won't even raise their voice. Listen, if they're being activists and everything like that. They coming in. Listen, okay. I'm a thank you very much, brother. And I'm gonna speak on that in a little bit. How you do one thing is how you do all things. All right. You approach the problem with a position of power. You approach the problem with a position of strength. That's what you use for leverage. When you approach the situation from subservient position, from a lower position, almost as if you're the child and you're asking your parents for permission, or you're complaining to your parents about something, you're putting them in the dominant and superior position. You're not going to use your leverage. Your leverage is the fact that you have the power of the people behind you. But the thing is that you're not utilizing your leverage in the anger of the people, which is going to move the politicians to do anything. You're not using that effectively if you're going in there on some, I don't want to offend nobody. I don't want to say no to nobody. I want to say yes to everybody. Is there a way everybody can get along? No, that's the problem. You're not effectively using the leverage that you have. You're putting all of when they do that, you're putting all of the leverage in their side. Okay. Because you're essentially telling them we're not demanding anything, because we can't demand anything. We're just asking. We're asking. You can't make a demand and soft shoe it, or whatever the case is. Now, you've been seeing strikes in this country left and right. You've been seeing like the writer's strike and all that stuff. They were very unapologetic. That's the only way you get anything done. You don't get anything done by saying, okay, I don't want them gone, but I don't want them here. No, we want them gone. They need to leave. And if you don't say that, then you're taking a step forward and you're moving 2 steps back. That's the thing. You're not going to get any progress when you have these fake, very selected representatives to come up on the podium and start to speak like there's the black and the brown and the disenfranchised communities, and well, we don't want them gone. We just want to see where the money going. The money. We don't care about where the money went. We want to know, who are you paying to put the tents up? No, we don't. No, we do not. And we need to have more people who get up there and almost like the West Side. I mean, how the West Side was like, no, we don't. The West Side was booing them. I'm not gonna lie, the South Side did not do that well in comparison. The South Side was sitting up there just like sitting up there idling by. Now, I will give it granted, it was less people, but we need to be on that type of energy when the people who are supposed to be speaking on your behalf, because all of these people who are coming up here supposed to be representing these specific neighborhoods and these black issues, when they come over there and they're talking about this black and brown stuff, they're saying that on behalf of you. So this is why, if you're sitting on the sidelines, even if you're not scheduled to speak, this is why you need to be like, hey, hell no. Hey, we ain't on that. They need to go. Like that brother over there. Be like, no, send their ass back. Send them all back. Ain't no we sitting up there trying to get them. No, send them back. And don't be apologetic about it. Don't be scared about it. Just say that. We're going to continue.
My name is Marjani Williams. I'm here representing myself, honestly, and my son. We've been trying to do this work to save Taylor Park in the Brownsville community. I don't know if folks are familiar with Taylor Park, but it is named after Robert Taylor, for the Robert Taylor homes that were demolished and thousands of Black folks were displaced and never really put back into place in our communities. And so I come here on behalf of the young people in that community, the seniors, everybody who has stood up, and all of these folks here I stand with, because we're here with a very clear.
See all that politically. I'm here with the young people in the community, the seniors in the community. You mean the Black people? I promise you guys, Black people will not get anywhere if you are afraid to use the word Black. See, over here, we not even we're so far beyond the curve. We don't even just say black. We say specifically foundational Black American. You know what I'm saying? That's how unapologetic we are. We don't even just say the race. We say the lineage too. Y'all sitting up there still on the people of the darker skin hue. Like, no, I promise you, you will never get anywhere with that.
Indirect message. I don't believe that Venezuelan folks are to blame for this mess.
I do. They should have went home and fixed it.
I believe that a lack of planning has exacerbated this disaster, and now it is coming on the backs of Black folks and other underrepresented folks who have been in
other underrepresented folks. Who are these other underrepresented folks? Is not coming on the backs of Asians, is not coming on the backs of Hispanics like that, because they are Hispanic. Is not coming on the backs of these Arabs, is not coming on the backs of these Indians, or is not coming on the backs of poorer whites. So who are the other man? Come on, man. Southside kind of took an L with this. I'm not gonna lie. Now there was some folks who said some cool stuff, but this ain't it.
In the city of Chicago for years and years and generations, and not had the level of support that we are seeking, but that we're now watching unfold for other folks. And so it's not a zero-sum game. We're not asking for folks to be harmed or any of that. That's never been our message. And I could speak for me and my son. We're here trying to save these kids' lives. It is not about us wanting to hold on to something so tight. Because if you've ever been to Taylor Park, it's not the nicest place, but it's our place. It's the place where our kids can come 5, 6, 7 days a week. And the old school Robert Taylor home, crowd can come. And there's peace. There is no gunfire. There is no fighting. There is no chaos as how our kids are being depicted, rioting, or like that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a safe haven where we got kids that are even coming from other neighborhoods to this location because it is so highly respected and coveted. And folks from Robert Taylor will tell you that's sacred ground. So what we're here to do is advocate on behalf of our community. And I don't believe that we need to be depicted as anti-anything. If I'm anti-anything, I'm anti-racist. I'm anti all of these ridiculous policies that are continuing to oppress and suppress Black folks in this city. And what we're calling for today is to be heard. We're constantly hearing that, oh, we hear you. We're taking this back to the city. We're taking it back to somebody. We're taking it back. Well, let's take it all the way back to where we've put our demands on the table for years. We've asked for capital improvements for buildings. We've asked for schools not to be closed. We've asked for more resources for our young people. I'm raising a young Black son in the city of Chicago. So if anybody understands how difficult that is, that we're fighting an uphill battle, then you understand. But my folks here understand exactly where we're coming from. Because when you see in the headlines, it's 15 kids shot in a weekend, they're not going to tell you that they were straight A students. They're not going to tell you what park they've been playing football for. They're not going to tell you how they've been raising their siblings and helping their mamas and daddies and grandparents. You don't see that. All you see is another Black body in the street. And so we're done fetishizing, Chicago violence and the lack of resources and calling us underrepresented and under whatever. We're going to be overly heard. And that's why we're doing this, because it's not about us versus them. This is about us. At the end of the day, this is about equity for folks who live in the city of Chicago, who were born and raised here. This is about equity for people who have been asking for what we deserve. We're not here begging for anything that does not already belong to us. I wish I knew exactly how many taxes I paid in this city over the years, but I guarantee you, it's enough that my son should be able to go and play at the park district, or that he should have a quality school in his neighborhood, and that he should be able to walk from one block to the next without worrying about fear or violence or any kind of inhumane consequences that are going to hinder his growth and his potential. I saw the young man last night at the West Side meeting, and it brought a tear to my eye. He stood up on that podium, on that dais in front of all of those folks who are elected officials and put in places of position, and he held his ground and he advocated for all those other young people who will not be heard, who are not being paid attention to, because there is a political agenda. That's what's not being talked about here. There is a clear political agenda, and we see what's happening here. We understand exactly what's being done to us without us. We're having meetings being held the day before, decisions have already been made weeks before, and they're coming to us under the guise of, we want to hear your voice. But when we stand up and make our voices heard, it's not prim and proper the way that they want to hear it. It's not the way that is socially acceptable for some folks. And quite honestly, it's a song and dance. They do it to appease us. But when we stand up together and we bring our babies out here so they can use their voices and they can be seen and heard, and we make it clear that we're not anti-immigrant, that we are pro our communities and we are pro equity in this city, then there is no argument. There should be no further argument about what we are demanding here. And that's equity and that's fairness for the people and the residents of Chicago to not just have a seat at the table, but for us to be the table together. We are the table. We are the table. These are our representatives. And so if it's going to be a problem with them representing us in the way that we are asking to be represented, then you're just going to see more of these groups of folks gathering together. You're going to see more of this community activism and more of this advocacy, because we're not going to stop until somebody...
I'm going to stop you. Y'all, well, what is that? What is that? Listen, she talked about everything. She never really landed on a point. She would bring a lot of stuff up and then kind of just segue it to another thing. And then she would bring something else up and segue that to another thing. And none of what she said ever really reached any conclusion or any point. It was just a lot of weird ties. She's talking about the crime, because the media don't report the crime the way they should, or they report the 15, okay. And it's not about, we not anti-immigrant, we for ourselves, and we don't want a seat at the table. We want to be the table because we are the table. And if they don't now, Lord, okay, hold on. Let me ask y'all, do y'all think that the meeting I played before, that was the meeting the day before, that was yesterday. This is today. This meeting happened today. Do you guys think that it's a coincidence that the way Chicago turned up in that meeting yesterday, you think it's a coincidence that there's another meeting the following day and they got a whole bunch of off-code representatives? Every representative is off-code. Is that a coincidence to y'all? Or do you guys think that might be planned? Do you think that might be orchestrated and manufactured? Does it make sense that you see the South Side turning up and call, even though there was some old niggas and coons and stuff like that there? You saw that. But for the most part, you saw the energy that the people had, not even the speakers, because the speakers is one thing, but the people who are there, you saw their energy. And then the following day, there's another meeting and everybody's on some kumbaya. Let's not talk about the brown. They don't have to leave. This is all about the money behind the closed doors and who pocketing the money and dirty politicians. Do you guys think that that's a coincidence? I don't think so. I think, and I can't prove it, I'm going to just say that right now, but what makes sense to me is that this whole thing was orchestrated so it can kind of take the steam away from the meeting before, so there's not that energy that they had does not get followed up with more proper on-code energy. They're trying to take the energy away and try to flip it like, yeah, we all upset too, but we upset about the audits and the politicians taking our money. That's what we upset about. They're taking the same energy, because this was following up. They even referenced the Southside meeting. They're trying to piggyback off the Southside meeting and stir the car to the left. You notice that. Notice this meeting don't sound almost nothing like the West Side meeting did. And the West Side meeting, not just the speakers, but the people was like, they gotta go. You don't know them. They don't need to be here. Now, I will say, even in the West Side, there was some still folks like, well, they don't gotta go. They just don't gotta be here. They need to go. Okay. They need to get out of here. All that there was a little bit of political correctness in the West Side meeting, but in this meeting specifically, it's a lot of that. Almost all of them. The only people you've seen really speak any sort of truth to power were the people who are not speakers. Was the other dude who came up, from the crowd, and then the brother on the side. Those are the only people you've seen so far speak any sort of truth to power. Let's if we ain't gonna go through all of it, I'm gonna skip forward a little bit when she finishes.
Somebody gives us a solid plan for our babies and for our communities, because they got a plan for our money. 10 out of 10. They got a plan for our tax dollars, a plan for our money, but they don't have a plan for our babies. And when you ask for a plan, oh, well, we're working with somebody else. I don't want to hear about nobody else.
I'm gonna fast forward past her. I'm gonna try to get to. I'm gonna get back to this lady. She was the woman in the beginning.
You're gonna turn up in every meeting you're gonna have. We're going to disrupt every meeting until we get what we are owed. That's simple.
Yeah, okay. Let me fast forward a little bit.
We had a victory, kind of, right? But now there's literally 200,000 more people coming, buses coming to Chicago every day, and we got word that they were going to move them in now, even though the city had already said, hey, it's kind of moot. We're not putting them in here. We're using other locations. So there's two issues there. One, I'm focused on this issue because that's what I'm hired to do. But secondly, for the migrants themselves, they shouldn't be in schools and police stations and parks. They need to be in residential housing.
No, this man, he came back on the same thing. They don't need to be in schools and police stations and in parks. They need to be in residential housing. Residential housing in Mexico, I would agree. Residential housing in Venezuela, I would agree. In Salvador, I would agree. Not in America. They are not owed a damn thing here. They don't even have a right to be here. They shouldn't be here. Do you see? They're trying to take the energy and pivot it to something different. They don't need to be in police stations and parks and stuff. They need to be in a big fat house. Like, what the? No.
And there's enough vacancies, apartments, hotels, places where they could be put.
It's enough vacancy apartments and hotels. No, it's not. First of all, because they filled them up. They've been filled them up. They filled them up months ago. Those things have been maxed out. You think they're sleeping on police floors because they don't want to put them in hotel rooms? No, all the spare hotels, all the spare shelters, all the spare housing has been maxed to capacity. So what they're trying to do, y'all, is and this is why I let it play for as long. Listen to all of the speakers. What they're trying to do is take the energy and pivot that from they need to leave to, yeah, we're mad. They want to present themselves as having the same level of righteous anger, but they're going to remix it to we're mad, just like the West Side was. We're mad that we don't know where the money's going. Yeah, we're mad that they're sleeping on the floors. Yeah, like, no.
Yes, it has, and I could send it to you. Yes, I about 2 weeks ago in Cook County Law Division. Yeah. Well, I think one of the most important amendments is also not asking just for the migrants not to come to the school, but for the school to be reopened and or used for community purposes. There was an oral contract that we think is enforceable to make this building for the community. And that promise, that contract, that commitment needs to be fulfilled.
Does it seek to block migrants not just here, but at other schools and other
Not at this time. We have been in
We
discussions
can't really
with
hear
other
the question,
people,
so I'm
and
okay.
I don't want to use the term blocking migrants because that's not what we're doing. We don't want staying conditions, not police floors, not tents in Chicago winter, and not in parks or schools, because Mayor Brandon Johnson won because of the African community. Paul Vallis got most of the white ethnic vote. He got most of the Hispanic vote. Brandon Johnson won because of the African American community. When crimes happen, he says that, well, this is from a position of anguish and we need programs. Well, how do you have programs if you shut down programs at parks and schools? You can't shut down a park and then say, I want to bring programs for kids.
Right. Where are they going?
Okay, we pay taxes for parks. Doesn't mean the federal government can never help a migrant. I think they should, but it means they should be helped in a proper fashion by having programs for kids in the parks, schools for the kids, for the schools, and then putting people in proper housing. McCormick Center.
Y'all, listen. You see the way this is controlled opposition. Okay, this is what this is. This is controlled opposition. They shouldn't have to take over because they know that the anger is the fact that they're tethering off of the resources, off of our resources. They know that. So what they're saying is, oh, they shouldn't take this park. Yeah. And then they stir the car to the left. They shouldn't take this park. Yeah. Let the audience build up. And the immigrants should have housing too. They're stirring it. They're turning the car left. Once they get the momentum going in the right direction, they say something good once in the beginning to get the crowd like on the roll with them, and then bam, it's this sharp ass pivot that just came out of nowhere. Yeah, they shouldn't take the schools, but the government needs to give them housing. No, you can't halfway be correct. You're either correct or you're incorrect. Let's see. It says the lawyer, somebody asked Tia, sister, what is the lawyer's name? He said it in the beginning. I don't know what firm he works for. I'm gonna rewind it to.
There are 3,000 beds during COVID. They weren't even used, and ventilators. That's a place that possibly could have been used, where there were people that had beds. I'm not saying that's the place. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But taking over a park and canceling kids programs or artistic adults is not proper.
Let me real quick. I'm sorry, I know we're in questions, but I want to just bring our West Side people because you need to see the unity that we have.
This is the West Side folk. These are the same people who was at the other meeting the other yesterday. Okay. So the West Side came to represent.
Someone from the last night meeting, she's from that community. And she's a leader in that community, her and her husband.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for welcoming me out here with you all today. And one of the great things that came out of this is that you'll see a united front between the South Side and the West Side. We are standing together, united. This is something that you've never seen before in this city. The South Side and the West Side come together for a common cause. I'm standing here tonight with buyer's remorse because I supported Mayor Brandon Johnson. I feel like a fool right now. I feel like a plum fool. But I tell you what, it's okay. Because as I said last night, you can slap us in the face by ignoring us today, but we are punching you in the face by ignoring you at the polling places tomorrow.
Hey, look, listen, don't that just wake you up? They just wake you up. You gotta love it. You just gotta love it. She said, look, you know it's the lady from the other day, because she said punch you in the face tomorrow. She said the same exact thing. She said, just slapped us in her face and we gonna punch you in the face. She said the same thing. See, this is the energy was needed. all the whole there's people of color and there's black and brown, and we don't want them to leave, but we don't want to sit at the table. We want to be the table, and we don't want them to sleep on the floors. We want them to sleep in a very nice house, in a very nice bed, in a very nice neighborhood. But the thing is, we don't want them in our neighborhood. And then the South Side came and got that off. Just get some straightening done. Punching them in the face politically, because we do not condone violence. Of course not on YouTube. No. Yeah, just speaking truth to power, man. Lord.
We will not be disrespected. Now you think about this. I come from the same neighborhood that Mayor Johnson says he comes from. And you mean to tell me that you don't respect us enough to come and sit down with us and have a conversation? It's unacceptable. But that's okay, you see, because what you have done is you have caused us to rise up. Yes. You have caused us to come together. You have caused us to unite. That's right. You think you have unitability with CTU? You haven't seen us. You haven't seen the monster that you have created. But we thank you. We thank you because for years and years and years, we have been trying to unite our communities. Right. So we thank you, Brandon Johnson, because you've just done that. You may not thank us tomorrow, but I promise you, you're going to remember these people here. Yes. We will not be defeated. We will not be bamboozled. We will not be disrespected. Thank you for your time. My name is Kata, C-A-T-A. Last name is Truss, T-R-U-S-S. And I am from the Austin community. Thank you.
Yeah, and you gotta love the grace. I'm gonna be honest. Our FBA sisters got a lot of grace to them, don't they? Don't they just got a lot of damn grace? She did all that yelling. She was waving her hand. We will not be disrespected. She instead of everybody all close to the microphone, everybody speaking into the mic. I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? I disapprove of the mayor's decision, and I just want to see the audit and where the paperwork is going. She stepped back, y'all. She stepped back from the mic to yell because she knew she couldn't yell in the mic. So she took a step back. Notice how far she was from the mic because she was. You didn't hear her in the mic. You didn't hear that sound in the mic. You heard her scream. She was yelling. She was screaming that. And then they'll say your name. Oh, well, my name is Grace, baby. And I come from this neighborhood. And she just came on, just landed just so softly and gracefully. You just got to love it. You got to love it. We gave her a hug and stepped out.
The lawsuit asked for is an audit of the money. We're asking for an audit of the money, how much has been spent, where it's been spent, how it's been allocated, a complete forensic audit.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but the thing just kind of shut off. But it goes on. The time whoever's doing this cameraman stuff, whoever's doing that cameraman stuff is I don't know. Okay, but we off that. Yeah. I'm glad. Let me see something. Somebody saying very moist. You troll. I know you ain't talking about me. Me being very moist. I'm gonna put you on time. I just don't know what you're talking about. Okay. We got trolls, we got haters. But the thing is that to some what that is that there is a righteous spirit in our people as foundational Black Americans. There is a justified anger in the people. And these people, the opposition, the dominant society, they are aware of that. And they're seeing that there is nothing they can do to slow the momentum down. They're seeing there's nothing they can do to calm us down. They're seeing there's nothing they can do to pacify us. They're seeing that it's not like some steam that we just need to let off and then we'll go home and we'll kind of accept what happens after that. We just want to be heard. They're seeing that we don't want to be heard. We want things to change and we want things to stop. So what they're doing is they're having fake meetings with fake representatives from people we don't know. They selectively pick certain people to get out there and to carry on the energy. The crowd is the energy. They're carrying on the energy, and then they're going left with it. They're carrying on the energy. Instead of saying the right thing, they're saying some good stuff in the beginning to get the type of credibility they need from the crowd. So the second the crowd starts cheering for them once or twice, then next thing you know, they're going straight left with it. Like, oh yeah, we don't want these immigrants to leave. We just want them to have better housing so they're not in the police station floors. That's not the type of energy the people are on. So it's very important to make sure that the people have representatives of the people's best interest, not the politicians' best interest, not the government's best interest, not the migrants or illegal aliens, not their best interest, the people's best interest. And the people's best interest is that they need to go and they need to just be gone. So all of this this fake, we don't want them gone, or we not mad at them. I'm not anti anything. I'm anti a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm unapologetic about that. I'm anti illegal invaders coming over here tethering off my resources. I'm very anti that, and I'm unapologetically anti that. Okay, and we have to get to that point. You can't be in a position of power if you're afraid to have that power. What's the use of a Bugatti if you're afraid to go beyond 50 miles an hour? Otherwise, you might as well have a regular car. There's no use of I was about to say some YouTube probably wouldn't want me to say. There's no use of having, like I said, a fast car if you're not willing to go fast. If there's a certain limit to where you're gonna go, then you just defeat the purpose, and actually you take a couple steps back when you do that. So that's why it's important for us not to do that. You need to be very unapologetic. We don't have to sit up there and be like, oh, I don't want you to think I'm mean, because I'm not mean. I'm a very nice person. No, you need to, when you're up there, you can be nice at home. You can be nice to your people. You can be nice to your family. You can be nice to your friends. When you're up there representing for your people, you need to be the meanest person those people have ever seen. You don't need to be the person like, hey man, we can get a drink after this. No, damn that. You need to be mean. You need to be unapologetic, okay, about that. Damn mincing feelings, damn hurting feelings, damn scaring off politicians, damn not being invited to the next meeting or whatever the case is. This is why you have more people who are on code on the sidelines. You got more people in the crowd who are not even speakers. Like, no, they need to go. No, they need to take their ass home. They're illegal. They shouldn't be here. You sitting up there talking about having a lawsuit to see the audit, to see where they not sleeping at. What are you doing? You're wasting time and you're wasting resources, and you're trying and failing to take the energy, the rightful fervor and energy that we have as the foundational Black Americans who are being tethered off of and disenfranchised and gentrified. You're trying to take our energy and you're trying to pivot it and remix it, fold it, shape it into something different by getting up there and saying one thing that's good in the beginning. Yeah, and this community should be for the schools and for the kids, and this school should be for the kids and for a community center, and it shouldn't be for that. It shouldn't be for that. And then next thing you say, you want to say something on behalf. You want to say, yeah, I disagree, but I still support the mayor. No, that's why I'm being honest. I was very impressed with majority of what I saw from the West Side, because the West Side was, the second they said something, they was boo, boo, no. If they had tomatoes anywhere around, they'd be throwing tomatoes. They was boo, no. You didn't really see that. With the exception of a couple of brothers, You didn't really see that in this meeting. The West Side energy, the energy they had over there, that's the energy that needs to be had every single time. The second somebody says something that is off code, the second somebody says something that's against the people, boo, boo, don't even let them speak. That's the type of energy. You see they got some straightening over there. You see all that babbling they were doing in this meeting on the South Side. You see they didn't get to get away with that on the West Side. When you come to them, because the West Side came to them with a position of power. When you come to them from a position of power, like all the BS, you're gonna stop that. We're not even gonna let you speak. Let me hear you say something that I don't like. You done. Okay, that's the energy that the South Side, the West Side, the West Side was on, and that's the energy that the South Side didn't have. That's why you heard all that babbling with that cheap ass immigrant lawyer. So this is the energy we need to have going forward, okay? And don't let these fake, very orchestrated representatives in speeches, in press conferences deter you from the energy you need to be on. If you the only one who's on code in one of those meetings, you need to be the loudest one there then. If you in a room of 100 people and all those 100 people, they off code, all those 100 people, they're agreeing with black and brown and all that stuff, and you the only one who's there and who's making some sense and who's on code, you need to be the loudest one there. Okay, I don't care if you rude or disruptive, if people giving you weird looks or whatever the case is, that don't matter. Man, exactly. Power concedes nothing without a demand, and we're not asking for nothing. We're not asking for anything. Somebody say discount lawyer, Dollar Tree lawyer. Oh Lord. His sunglasses look like it came from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna be honest. If you see that, and another thing is what they'll do when they have that, the cameras, because the cameras is really on the dominance, so they're not gonna zoom into you because they're there for an agenda as well too. So if you're not a speaker, you need to have your camera on. You need to have your camera so we can see it. Because what they'll try to do is you'll say some stuff and they'll just edit you out. You know what I'm saying? Because none of this stuff is going on live. The camera crew is there, and then they post this up later. So they get to just, if you notice in the West Side meeting, I don't know if you guys caught it, but in the West Side meeting, what they were doing is they were kind of skipping. They were kind of just like one person was talking and the next person talking. It was kind of just like jumping a little bit and skipping a little bit. So that's why when you guys go or whatever, if y'all know y'all gonna be spitting that fire, y'all need to go and have somebody with you to record. Because what they'll do is they'll skip it, and they'll skip that. So when they post the production, it looks like the community is on one page, but they don't want to show the page the community is really on. Notice it, you notice that Hurricane IQ, he noticed that. Notice that's what they'll try to do to make it seem like, wait, hold on now, the people see it, they wanted black and brown. So that's why we got to be a step ahead of them. We have to be a step ahead of them. So we're not playing no games. We are not playing no games. Now, I want to announce a couple things. We've been on here for a good minute. Next Thursday, we are having another ozone thing, because even though the trial is over, the sentencing has not been done yet. So on our good sister ZZ's channel, you guys go over there, subscribe to her channel. Next Thursday, we're going to be on her channel. I'm still going to have my live. I'm going to do it early because we're going to be on her channel, and we're going to be doing another fundraiser because he's still got lawyer fees and legal stuff and everything. And it's important for us to see the mission through. The mission is to liberate our brother Ozone. So even though the trial is necessarily over, the battle is not won yet. The battle is not over yet. So it's important for us to see it through. So we're going to be seeing it through this Thursday coming up on the 12th. All right. On our sister Zizi's channel, I'm going to be co-hosting with her. So you guys go over there and subscribe to her channel, and then be waiting on that, because that's coming up. All right. I'm gonna play because people really liked it. People really liked it the first time, so I'm gonna play it again. Yes, brothers and sisters, we are going to be having a very new, once never done before, podcast event for the culture, for Black society. Something that's been completely B1. We ain't gonna be sitting up there joking about our childhood embarrassments and all that. No diss. But we're going to be in there handling business like it has never been done before. Okay. Well, I had in what day was that? I forgot. Black Alpha and ZZ. Speaking of ZZ, I had ZZ on, and we've introduced it. Okay. And y'all been throwing so much support, man. Y'all have tremendously been throwing a lot of support, you know, trying to, even though we already had it booked before, that's what we announced it right after we had the place booked and the flight and stuff like that. Y'all still been like throwing support, like, man, how can I help? How can I throw you? How can I support and everything like that? And I really, truly appreciate that. I really, really do. I'm gonna say this one thing, y'all. When I started this whole thing, as far as being Afro Elite just in general, and I started my YouTube thing because I had to get the off code stuff I was seeing off my chest. I had this urge to speak truth to power when it came to Black on Black crime. And then I was kind of really, with that, it sparked this motivation in me to just keep going. And I've just been on a roll ever since. I knew that there was going to be ups and downs. I knew that there were going to be good times and there were going to be bad times. There were going to be times when we're doing really well. The views are looking really well. The channel just in general is progressing really well with the subscribers, with the interactions. I knew that was going to happen. And I knew that it was going to, sometimes stuff is going to get dry. Sometimes stuff is, we're not getting those many views. We're not getting those many likes. We're not getting those many shares. Nobody's really, you know, stuff is going to be dry. You know what I'm saying? And this is a process. It's an up and down thing. But you all have been supporting, whether you guys have been supporting from a long time of years, whether you guys have been on recently, but still have gone out of your way to show the dedication and to show the commitment, you guys have been supporting. So whether we have the good times like we had in August, because August we was blowing up. We was blowing up in August, whether we was blowing up in August or whether we, you know, we got a not so good start of the week. We kind of not doing that well. You guys have been here consistently. I see the chat rooms, even if I'm not there live with you guys, I go back and look to see, okay, I see our good brother Hurricane IQ was in here. I see that Iron Will was in here. I see that DBS was in here. I see a lot of brothers. I don't want to get to naming everybody. I see our sister Tia was in here. I see our sister Nikki the God was in here. I see our sister Donna was in here. You know what I'm saying? You guys are here constantly, frequently, and everything like that. Even when the stuff get dry, even when the stuff, you know, seeming kind of down, you know, we're always, because we're on code and because we have built this connection, we're always going to stick together. And that's what's getting the channel through. So when I say things like we are on our way to 10K, I've noticed I don't say I'm on my way to 10K. I'm doing this. I'm saying we are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a group effort, you know, and you guys have been making sure, even if you guys have to watch it on the playback, which a lot of you guys have been telling me you've been doing, because I put out more content lately in the last like couple months. I want to say, I think it was a couple months. Brother Derek, I've been seeing brother PD Chicago. I've been seeing you guys. I've been putting out like double the content, because I used to do only Mondays and Thursdays, and it would just be a lot. And then I kind of really the reason why I started to do the other stories is because there would be a lot of stuff I would just like miss out on. And I would miss out on a lot of the stories that I wanted to talk about, but they were kind of like small stories. So I couldn't really make a live out of it because the lives are for a very big story. That's the whole thing. You notice my lives have really been, even if I segue to a little bit, they've been dedicated to one single thing, right? But there's a lot of smaller stories that I don't get to really touch on. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just touch on a couple things. So that's why when Dana White was beating his wife, I brought that up, or whatever the case is, or LeBron with the jab, I brought that up. But it wasn't this consistent thing. But then I'm all like, I got to get these stories out. So when I changed my schedule and everything like that, a lot of people's like, hey, Afro, I'm trying to catch your premiere, but I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm watching on the back end, I'm watching on the playback. So our playback power, even if the premiere sometimes is not as good as other days, but the playback power really helps it catch up. You know what I'm saying? So that shows that you guys really, you're not there just because it's premiering and y'all ain't got nothing else to do. You guys are there because you guys are committed. You guys are showing some true dedication and support. So I really appreciate that from you guys. All right. And that doesn't get said enough. My appreciation does not get shown enough to you all, but I see it and I appreciate that. You said you locked in the first time I saw. I appreciate that, brother. He's been a tremendous supporter too. I appreciate that. Let me see. I watched the sister. She had to watch the Van Lathan program. I appreciate, and thank you. It was a good program. Thank you very much. So we're gonna have good days and bad days, and let's be honest, we've been shadow banned. I've shown that before, where you go to, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm still like a little shadow banned, because when you go to my name, it's a very weird thing. When you just type in Afro Elite on the search bar, just Afro Elite, nothing else, you'll see like a couple of my videos. And then you'll see when you go down, actually, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right this second. Just to show you guys what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Well, live right now. Hold on. Let me put this up. Okay. Now you can see, and let me show it. Hold on. I didn't put it on the screen. Now you can see my profile is right here. We're live right here. You guys see it, right? And then when you scroll down, you see another one. That's the one I did yesterday. And then after that, it has this weird thing. Notice this. It says 8 more. You have to click into that. Notice, have you guys seen that before? YouTube doesn't really do that to other channels. Now, when you go, you only see 2, and that's because I'm live right now. And this was from yesterday. My 2 most recent programs are lives. And then when you scroll down, you don't see hardly nothing that got to do with me or my channel at all. And scrolling down, then you see something, the thing I dropped about DeSantis. You see that. And then it's nothing. I did a debate with him like a year ago. That's not even my channel either. Nothing. Like, you don't really see YouTube doing that to other channels. Like, you gotta hit plus more to see more. I'm the only Afro Elite on YouTube, so you see that happening. It's a thing. They doing that. They shadow ban me. I'm not gonna say I'm the only one who gets shadow banned, because I'm not. But that's why it's important that you guys are doing what you're doing when you guys are making sure, and that's why I try to be as on time and make sure the content is every day and don't miss a day. Even if it's late, even like at 12 o'clock at night, I make sure I don't miss a day. So you guys know, like, everything is every day. Just check back in. If it's not on time, it's going to be later, So I make sure that's that way. All right. Because, we're on our way to 10K and they don't like that. But that's not going to stop anything just because they don't like it. So I appreciate y'all. Now, I will want to say, too, you guys should be following me on my various social media platforms. And the reason why is because I also on my Instagram and my Twitter, I premiere it. I notify it. I advertise it. So you guys, even if YouTube doesn't send you the recommendations, you guys will see it on these other social media platforms. So that's why it's important for you guys to be following me on that. And links to that is in the description. All right. I appreciate you guys. Also, please make sure the likes really help. Likes really help. So leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Because you might, if you leave it up to YouTube, you might. So you don't do that, hit that notification bell. And then check back in and then hit that notify me button. Because there's some people who tell me, they like, hey, I got your notifications on, I still don't get them. So you guys gotta like double check or whatever. Share too. Thank you, brother. Sharing is very important too. Word of mouth is very, very important. A lot of people who know me through word of mouth. So that's very important too. The replays are also important. Also, not just the replays, but also the length and time of what you guys, how long you guys stay. Because YouTube calculates that. And it goes into the algorithm. So if you guys are just jumping on and for 30 seconds, leave a like and bouncing, it's less effective than if you guys are staying, even if you guys stay like 70%, not from start to finish, but 70% of the time, even if you guys are staying for that long, then it helps the algorithm better than just hopping on, hitting a like and bounce and never coming back. Like if y'all got to hop on, leave a like and then come back later, that's one thing. But if y'all, sometimes people hop on, leave a like, bounce, never come back, you know, it helps a little bit, you know, there's more that can be done with that, you know. But with that being said, my good brothers and my sisters, we've been on for over 3 hours again. Man, these live streams getting long. Live streams is getting long, ain't they? I want to say B1 salute to every single last one of you guys. Most definitely. I appreciate you guys sincerely. And you all have a good one.